Smack that all on the floor. Smack that, give me some more. Smack that till you get sore. Smack that, oh. That's it?
I was going with it, man.
Are you smacking a tile? You're smacking a tile.
That's exactly why I chose this song. All right? We don't use mallets at the Tile Guy. We use our bare hands.
I use mallets.
Do you?
Yeah.
You're special.
That was Omid from the Tile Guy. He's
That
our
was
special
fantastic.
guest.
Smack it.
Smack that.
Smack that.
Not
Oh,
smack it.
that.
Smack
Come on,
that.
man.
I thought when you first sent that to me, I thought you were gonna do Prodigy. Smack that. Smack my bitch up.
No. We're a little bit younger, different generation.
So you know what? There was music before you guys were born.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Good music too. Okay, Omid. So
¿Qué pasó?
what are we gonna talk about today? HVAC?
HVAC. You know what? We should. Yeah, I've had some fun with
Decking?
HVAC.
No.
We can.
No.
We can talk about all these
We're
things.
going to talk about tile.
I know, but they all incorporate tile work.
We have
HVAC.
Omid here. We have, he tries to connect
Area
everything.
vents. Hello.
What was it you were trying to bring up with Jesse last week? You were trying to bring up some other thing tiles. Funny enough, you were bringing up tiles with Framer.
It's about the point that it's the same industry.
And we got Omid here at thetileguy.gta. And so you can find them through an email, thetile.gta@gmail.com. Phone number 647-716-5062. And don't forget, it's The Tile Guy, Inc.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, because
Very
there's
important.
He's the one and only The Tile Guy.
That's right.
GTA.
There is an imposter, and I want everyone to know.
I'm not going to get down that
he
road.
is not him.
I'm not getting down that road.
And by the way, Omid, I don't want Manny bullying you or anyone else on this show anymore.
When the heck is the bully? You're the bully, no one else.
They listen.
I'm
you know
a
that,
bedroom
right?
bully.
They listen. We are doing episode 101.
Wow, 101 is perfect for Omid.
101.
I mean, the tile guy.
How'd you guys get 100 already? So, man,
Working hard at it.
you guys are amazing.
But first, we have
Wait
our
a
first
second.
segment.
Can I tell you how we got to 101?
How we got?
By never working at home.
What?
Dum, dum, dum.
Think about that.
You guys can think about that. First of all, let's just say thank you to the listeners that keep on growing every single week and everybody that's tuning in and actually tuning in for the whole show, not just the beginning or the middle and then taking off and then disappearing. No, man, the whole show right to the very end, right to your beatbox, man.
That's amazing. I love it. I
So
love to hear
the audience
that.
is growing and everybody else who says shit about us, fuck off.
Well, who's gonna talk shit? It's real stuff.
Let them talk shit. I
Come
don't give a
on.
shit.
You-
That's
That's
it.
it.
I don't really care what I hear, but I do.
No, you know what? No one has a paper
Hey,
in
man.
front of them. Come on.
Listen, let's move on with the show. What's our first segment?
It will be History with Manny.
I got nervous there because Carlito's got no paperwork in front of himself, and the eyes went everywhere looking for what was the clue. I want to ask Omid. I need you to tell me. I mean, Carlito might know this. I'm not exactly sure though. Who invented tile
Who invented tile?
and when?
Oh, Italians for sure.
Nope.
Get out of here.
Chinese.
Nope.
Croatian.
Nope.
Indian.
Nope.
Portuguese.
Nope.
Egyptians.
Bingo.
Oh, they invented everything. Come on.
Egyptians. So the history of ceramic tiles. So obviously we started with ceramic tiles. Oldest civilizations is known through the Egyptians. 4th millennium BC.
Wow.
4,000 years before Christ. It was used primarily for decorating their houses and specifically blue tile bricks.
Wait,
And
you mean their pyramids?
their homes. So blue tile bricks. The glazed bricks were also very common in Mesopotamia. How do you pronounce that again?
Mesopotamia?
Yeah, that's exactly it. One of the most famous structures is still up today. It's the Ishtar Door of Babylon. I encourage you guys, look it up. It is a stunning piece of fucking
I
work.
would like to see.
Wow, that is. But even more important
moly.
is
It's all
they
blue tile.
glazed the
It's all-
top of the pyramids
It's all-
also.
I know the very tip of it. It was with gold, right?
Yeah.
From there, it went to Babylon. From Babylon, it went to Assyria, to ancient Persian.
So Middle
Wow.
East.
Middle East, basically. After that, the Greeks and the Romans got a hold of it. But that wasn't until 200 BC.
Wow.
That's when the Greeks and Romans, and they were primarily used, again, mosaics that lined the floors and walls of their bathhouses, luxury villas, and temples.
That's
So
amazing,
all
man.
Then after
hand-clean.
that, the Chinese got involved.
That's it.
Of
Then
course.
Game
Now
over.
get this: the Chinese in history are the ones that took ceramic tile to porcelain.
Wow.
They first invented porcelain porcelain material. Isn't that interesting, man?
That is totally interesting. That was history with...
No, not done.
No, more. I love it.
Now, there isn't anything simpler back in time to make than what tile? You guys tell me. What's the simplest tile to make?
Ceramic.
Clay tile.
A terracotta tile,
Yeah.
which is basically clay tile. It's clay and it's dried out in the sun or in a fire pit, but mostly it was done
And then
in the sun.
glazed.
And then glazed if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So the name terracotta literally means what, guys?
Made in Mexico.
No. The name terracotta, think about it. Terracotta. Terra.
My veranda.
No. Baked earth.
Baked earth.
Terra, earth, cotta.
And
baked.
in what language
In
is
what
that?
language?
I don't know where that's coming from, but
Terra.
I'm assuming maybe, I don't know, Spanish. I'm not
Peru,
exactly sure.
Mexico.
Could be right. So,
Spaniards.
and where was terracotta tiles first used? Think about it. It's still being used to today.
Outside floors.
Roofs.
Okay, tile.
Of course.
Okay, sure.
All of Europe is covered.
Exactly. Roofs.
Wow.
Okay. And that was
History with Manny. I also want to put something in the history lesson there that the Egyptians started just the tip.
Always.
And you are listening to The Construction Life. It's all about circumcision on this show. Another word that's never been expressed until now. Okay, so now we got another segment. You're not even familiar. So, Omid, you've been back I don't know, I think the last time you were here was September.
Was it?
I think it was September, back in
was
episode
here
22, 21.
With Pro Custom Painting.
Yeah, he was here. So that was episode 21.
Mr. Flo.
20.
20.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we have a bunch of segments, right? But we have another segment called Construction Bone to Pick.
That's right. Are you gonna have the bone or me?
You have one on your tip?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got tons of on my tip. So one of my big construction bones is, why do guys feel that they can come to work and stink? Armpit juice. I mean, one guy comes from Europe
Armpit
and
juice?
he smells like garlic and vodka.
Do you
and
bring
then-
it up? Do you bring it up and tell
Yeah,
them?
I'm just like, guys, you smell and I can't breathe. And they're like looking at me and they're
Why
like,
do you think they come to work like that?
I don't think you should come to work smelling like body fluids. Like, if you've been with your partner and you come to work and you don't clean up, you shouldn't smell like that. You shouldn't smell like food. You should clean yourself. And if you do choose to do arm deodorant, or you don't want to use the arm deodorant, at least do a bird bath and clean yourself.
And today's show is brought to you by your favorite cheese. Just go to the grocery store and buy whichever favorite cheese you like.
Blue.
Omid, any thoughts on that construction bone to pick?
On a serious note,
That was a serious note.
the thing is, in some cultures, I've heard, I don't know who it was from, but they can't use deodorant. They don't do that. If some people think it's not healthy.
2020, man.
Yeah, well, I
It's-
think it's amazing that we're mixing cultures here
Yes.
and we're learning and growing together and adapting. But when I say adapting, that also means that you have to respect
Exactly.
other people too.
The thing is, it's a simple conversation to have, right? You have to tell the guy, listen, it does smell a little bit. It's not comfortable for the homeowner or for the other people working around you. Here's a stick of whatever it is. Do you mind just putting it underneath? And
There's
that's it,
natural
right?
deodorants out there if people are allergic to the aluminum or whatever it is
So
that's inside
I use
there.
baking soda.
Okay.
And it works.
Okay.
I just don't stink. And yes, there is like every 6 months I'll do 30 days I won't wear arm deodorant, and it does, start to build up. But the minute someone says something, I stop my...
Wait a minute, hang on. You don't wear any deodorant for 30 days?
I try to kind of cleanse my body and let it, go through its cycle naturally.
My uncle actually doesn't use deodorant. He uses lemon. Believe
Yeah,
He's a
Lemon?
concrete
it's hard to
finisher.
keep up with though.
He's a concrete finisher, and he uses lemon. Yeah,
It
I
works.
didn't believe it, and then
It
Am I
works
told
for
me,
some
I said,
people.
Am I the only one that uses a regular deodorant spray like Dove anti-perspirant?
some people, the parabens in it, the cancer stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what's in it. Some of the stuff that blocks your sweat to the point where your body can't sweat, and that's not healthy, right?
Yeah. I think that it's important that people
Smell good, basically.
I just don't care
Are
if
you
you wear
against,
arm
like,
deodorant or not.
Too
but
much cologne.
Yeah,
Clean
that's-
yourself.
you know,
Clean yourself.
what's worse, I think, is too much cologne rather than.
Why are you
a
coming
BO.
into a construction site with cologne on?
Yeah, that's a little.
What do you want, a TV show?
No, that's
Guys on TV
really
shows
bad.
don't wear cologne, but I would expect
Perfume from the ladies?
I would expect maybe GC coffees.
Cafe.
GCs.
Cafe GCs.
Well, actually, you know what? Bringing that point up, I remember there was one time there was a job, a concrete truck driver. He showed up, and as soon as he came out of the cab and came around the back there, it was just that waft of, I think it was David Off. Not
Well,
exactly sure.
But
It must be Middle Eastern.
But it's cigarettes too. Like some guys come in, they
All
smoke
kinds
20
of-
cigarettes.
Okay, what about weed? So you're talking about any kind of smell?
Listen, I'll tell you one thing. If you smoke weed and you come to work,
You're
I don't care
gone.
if you smoke weed.
You're gone.
But do not show up
You're
on my
gone.
job site smelling like weed.
Absolutely.
What
Because
if
you're
you-
making me look like a clown.
What if someone's figured out how to use weed to take care of their underarm?
You can't smell it. It's fine. Merry Christmas.
you know what? You're just not going to have work for me. I'm okay with you doing whatever you want on your own to personal time, but not at work.
That was Carlito's bone to pick.
Well, I wasn't done.
Oh, sorry.
I wanted to talk about breath too.
Oh, God, we're still... Okay.
Thank God that COVID's happened because now lately I haven't smelt anyone's breath because they either have a mask or something on. But some guys
You
are
know how many
speaking to
people
me,
hate you right now for saying that?
and I
Holy
can smell their breath from 4 feet
Send
away.
your letters to, I don't know who, but I don't
Send
know.
them your
Oh,
address.
and another thing. Please don't wear your clothes more than 3 days in a row so I can
What
smell
the
your stinky ass and your dirty sweat.
Who's wearing their clothes more
Lots
3
of
days?
guys do. Some guys just don't know how to do the laundry. And for the guys that do, congratulations.
Do you not have 5 pairs, a minimum 5 pairs of work pants?
I change daily.
I know. So you have 5 pairs of work pants, right?
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday.
I mean, it's hard
Saturday,
on
Sunday.
it's hard on cleaning. Sometimes what I do is if I'm laying tiles, I'll sometimes pre-long the pants because I know it's gonna have thin set and caulking.
I'll
Whatever else
prolong
on
it. You pre-long it.
But if the minute someone even tells me or even I think that something smells, I'm cleaning up.
And that
What
was-
is this? Some people like to use the same shirt over and over.
I know.
Is this the game? I don't know.
It's, you know what? It's a valid construction bone to pick because you're true. It's right. Some guys are actually pretty nasty and they should just wake up a little bit.
I'm only saying that because today I had 2 guys that I could not refuse because the homeowner actually brought 2 guys in that I wasn't in control of. And I
Are there
actually,
trades?
Yeah. And I had to open the front doors up and he's like, "Can you close the door?" And I'm like, "No." I'm
stink.
like, I can't breathe in here because of the guys you chose to bring in here. And it's great that you don't care, but I can't breathe. It's literally overwhelming so bad that I'm going to walk off your job site. So what would you rather have? Door open, me gone.
And that was Carlito's construction
That
bone
was a
to pick.
skeleton to pick, not a bone.
I know, eh? It wasn't just one bone. It was a whole skeleton.
Stinky people.
On with the show, man. We got to get on with the show. So, Omid, we already know a little bit about you from the beginning.
Yeah, man.
What do you want to talk about?
What do I want to talk about? Let's talk about thin set.
Ooh, let's talk
Insect.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the.
I need to talk about
the body
thin
shop
set.
going on there. What's going on? Okay. What are you talking about? Large format thin set,
And
mosaic thin set, glass thin
there's
set.
a lot of talk about this thin set's better than this thin set. I like this and I like that. I think personally, I'm a Mapei guy. I've used SG since I started using SG.
Who's SG?
Mapei SG.
I knew that. I was just testing Carlito.
You fucking liar. Oh, by the way, this is sponsored by
No,
Mapei.
it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No,
I
it's-
told you this show's brought to you by cheese.
No, this is the thing. See, with thin set, I've tried all of them.
Have you tried all of them?
I've tried all
So
of them.
let's
Have you
start,
tried Tech?
Yeah.
Let's start naming
Yeah,
them all.
I've tried Tech. I used
47?
to use Tech. Yes, I used
Let's
to use Tech.
start
yeah.
naming all of them. So
Oh,
who's
man.
out there right now?
There's everyone. There's the Latticrete. There's Tech. There's
Custom.
Okay,
there's Flex Tile.
Let's start right from the beginning then. Let's start with Flex Tile.
Flex Tile. Here's the thing. Flex Tile is commercial. Is basically commercial applications.
You're right.
This sand that
Why
is
do you say that?
so the sand and the polymers and everything that's in there is meant to basically it's going to be a stone. So I don't know if I don't use gloves at work, but if you've ever used flex tile and you get thin set in your hand, the sand will actually cut your skin. It's very coarse, very, very coarse.
You concur,
And
Captain, there?
Your
I do.
hands
Good.
will burn big time. Will get red, and you'll get burns on your hands. So we stopped using flex tile a while ago because I can't use gloves. My hands get too soft.
But it was a good product
It
regardless.
was a great product.
Okay.
Great product. One thing too, the cost factor was a little bit higher than most of the other companies, and so I was looking to see what works best at the lowest cost because we go through skids.
Okay, so going back to flex tile, the only problem is when you're using high polished porcelain,
You'll
you have to be
scratch the
very
crap out
careful
of it.
with it.
Yeah.
It will leave etching.
Yes.
And
That's the grays. You know, like we don't touch everything that we do is all white thin set. Anything, just white.
well, unless
don't
your
use
tiles
gray?
are black.
Doesn't
No,
matter?
We don't touch no.
Unless
Even
your
with
tiles are
Schluter,
black.
Even Schluter,
Black tiles?
black tiles will use white. Everything we use white.
Really?
Yep. Everything.
What's
Because you
the
can
reasoning behind
see white a lot better than you can see gray.
So when
on
you're
a
cleaning the
tile.
grout lines.
when you clean the grout, when you clean the tile itself too, everything.
Have you ever asked this question? Because I have yet to ask this question. I should ask this question. Why is white thin set more expensive than gray thin set?
The polymers goes into a white thin set is different than the polymers in a gray thin set.
Is it the same PL stuff that's on the space shuttle?
You're so stupid. You haven't even looked it up yet, have you? Mr. fucking Space Boy?
He's supposed to be the Joker, not you. What is this?
Have you heard about this?
No, I have not.
The space shuttle, NASA, uses PL.
No,
glue.
hang on a second.
Yeah.
I said
That's what their wings-
NASA invented PL for the space shuttle. That's exactly what I said.
Where did you hear this? Elmo Street? What is this?
I want you to go look it up, Elmer.
Okay, back to time. We're way off. I think the drinks have started early. Okay, so the polymers are different in white versus gray thin
Yes.
set, and that's the reason why it's more expensive.
If you get a batch of the same company, whether it's Flex Tile, whether it's Custom Blend, whether it's Mapei, anybody, you mix their white and their gray, you will feel a different consistency. The gray will be more of a watery like texture, and the white will be more of a creamy texture.
Moving on to other ones. Tech. What's tech
wait.
like?
I did want to say I've never seen any failure from Flex.
No.
I've only seen scratching, so I just do want
No.
to say that.
Yeah,
Haven't used
it's
in
very-
decades, but
It
Okay, so
bonds
then,
very well.
Omid, who have you seen failure from?
And
Was it directly related to that thin
So
set?
I've actually seen failures happen with thin sets that have a low concentration of sand.
So the less sand.
Yes. So the reason is this: this sand basically when you backbuttering a tile, you basically have to scrape the tile, right?
Don't you remember Kieran when we were talking about lime plaster? It was the sand that was the binding agent.
There's micro scratches in the back of the tile as well, right? When you have something very
You're etching
creamy, exactly, right? So if you don't have that sand and you have just a cream coat on it, if your back of your tile has some dust on it or something, it's not bonding. You know, that's why sometimes when people do demo jobs and they pull the tiles just pop up, but you see it's full coverage. Back of the tile was either dirty or the thin set had too much water and there wasn't enough sand, and that's what happens.
okay, but there's something important to say there since we're both tile setters. Another thing is a lot of guys will cut or wet porcelain, and they shouldn't, because when you're adding thin set to porcelain, it should be dry.
Yeah, always.
So a lot of guys don't know to wipe that off to keep
have
it
to.
wet, and
You have
then
to.
the thin set doesn't matter what company it's from
Yeah.
will not adhere to
Well,
the water.
the thing is,
it's glass.
See, people should try it. If you get a porcelain tile, cut it wet, install it, and take it up. Then do the same thing with a dry tile. You'll see the difference when you pull it up. And from there, they understand, hey, you know what? Yeah, we need to dry this. Because you can see it just pops right up.
That's right.
There's no bond.
So how's Latacretes?
So Latacrete is more sandy, well made. The thing is, I don't like the bucket
Slump.
time. The slump is there. The thing is, for me, it kicks too fast, and you have to spin it way too often. Because we go basically, the time is we always mix half bucket. We never mix a full bucket ever. We always mix 2 half buckets. Helper has 1 for back butter, and I have 1 half, right? That way you don't have to go back and remix it. You'll finish the bucket in time before you have to do a full mix and not have to
depending on the size of the tile too.
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
right?
I know,
if
but
you-
what's the best part of a mix when you guys start tiling?
The best part of a mix?
That's it's the first batch, like that beginning part. So
No.
why make?
No, the
No.
third batch is the best because the first one you're kind of checking the slump, the moisture.
No,
you're
I was
that
getting
all.
at like a fresh batch being made, and then you're using brand new thin set.
But
instead
that's
of,
why if you mix half buckets at a time, you'll
Yeah.
always have
of a
that.
fresh batch.
If you have a full bucket, by the time
No.
you reach halfway or
Doesn't
quarter
work
way,
that way.
you gotta whip that up, with your trowel, right?
Okay, so who
half
else is
bucket.
there?
And really, wait. So before we go any farther, since we're already talking about mixing, it says on every bag, and I don't care if you're a pro or you're not, you need to mix that and let it sit for 10
Slave.
to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And what happens is the hardeners all kick in, all the chemicals start to mix.
Yep.
And if anyone just mixes and then goes and lays tiles, they're doing it completely wrong because you're supposed to come back 10 minutes later, spin for another 5 minutes.
Yeah, there's some thin sets that you actually don't have to let
Who are they?
stay. So any quick set, you do not do that. You mix and install. I believe X5, which is Ardex, you don't need to let it sit. I believe. I heard this, don't quote me, but I think so. But for sure, 100% quick set, do not let it sit.
And even more important than mixing it a second time is actually having the proper spinner to actually get the proper RPMs and keep it consistent.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Okay, so Ardex, what about their mix?
So Ardex, I used Ardex. I've used X5. Ardex is a great product. You can leave it in a bucket of water and it will set. It's great. The problem is it's very thick when mixed. I've actually had it stained porcelain tile, gray tile, twice on two separate jobs.
Wow.
So
porcelain.
basically, there was a bit of thin set left that wasn't wiped on the face of the tile. Following day came, you wipe the tile off, but for whatever reason, there's a bit of residue that was left on the tile. So we went to the point where we got muriatic acid to try and take that off, and we had to use full concentration to get rid of that.
Wow.
So
Then you have to seal it again.
So I went to Ardex and I spoke. This happened on two different jobs at two different times, right? And I thought the first time I said, well, maybe it was the tile. They both were porcelain, and they were both gray tiles, gray textured matte porcelain tile. So from that point on, I said no more Ardex.
The only thing I like from Ardex is their self-leveler.
Yes.
That's just my
Yes.
opinion.
Which
Their
at
feather
this point
finish.
you can get rid of and use Lafarge's Agili Screed.
Yeah, but this
you
doesn't
can.
require a pump truck.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
If you've got a large enough
And
job.
you don't need wire mesh.
Ardex has the best self-leveler in the industry if you're doing small jobs.
Yeah.
So now what about Schluter's mix?
Schluter's mix. So Schluter mix is, people that like creamy, that's the thing set to go
So there's
with.
a lot of polymer in it.
Super. It's you can grab a whole trowel full with your half-inch trowel and put it on its side, and it
not going anywhere.
won't not go anywhere. But when you go put that on the wall, it's just like butter. You know what I mean?
So
great for slabs. Amazing for slabs.
I've had nothing but bad experiences with Schluter when it comes to their thin set. When it comes to their waterproofing, everything's 100%. Like perfect. I love everything about them. I do not use their thin set. I've tried it. I started using it when it first came out, and I know that the chemicals were changing, and they were changing their additives slowly to kind of compensate for their flaws of getting into the thin set
Their
industry.
bucket time had a problem before. Yeah.
I had problems with their thin set not drying and staying wet way too long. The stickiness wasn't there for me.
You know why that is? The way they design their thin set is different. Their PSI strength doesn't reach its peak compared to a lot of these other companies. And that's why I stuck with Mapei. Mapei's thin set will reach 80% its PSI strength in, I think, the shortest amount of time than the rest of the thin sets that I've used. The best test to do is if you get some Ditra on concrete subfloor, okay? One that it's not primed, okay? So if you get, I use SG. If you get SG, you put your Ditra down, roll it, okay? Pull up that same piece the next day on an unprimed concrete floor, and you'll see you're not pulling that off. You got to grab a chisel and hammer and pull it off. I've got videos that we've actually done where we have not primed, tried pulling off a little section, and that took me 10 minutes to chisel it out.
That's
It
good. That is good to hear.
It grabs, but it's all the mix. If you water it down too much, that sand will separate and it will not stick.
That's important also. Like, you should read how much water is supposed to be in your mixes.
Yeah.
You don't just go, oh, I'm going to put a half a
You know, a lot
liter
of people,
in.
they read, okay, the direction says this. But I'm a firm believer is we've done this for a while, and we always, it depending on what you do. So, like, if you're going to do a Schluter, right, and you're going to use a, say, a pay product, if you follow their instructions and you try putting their curdy band, good luck. It's not happening. You need to water it down a little bit more. And Schluter basically says until their notch trowel, once you pick it up from the bucket, right, you should be able to see the trowel marks and not collapse, but it should be almost in fluid form, right? But on the back of any bag, it won't say to do that. So it's different depending on what you install.
And you're right, because I teach the guys that work with me about slump. So I treat it like pouring concrete. So I'll get a scoop, a 6-inch scoop, and I'll drip it off and I'll count how many times it comes off. Typically, that's how I train the guys to get the same mix consistently all the time.
Just grab a trowel.
Yeah. I do the first batch with them and then I get them going. I say, this is how I want it. But I do also have different types of density. Like if I want to keep it high and tight, I'll keep it a little drier. If I want to, push it down a little bit more, I'll just wet it down a little bit.
Isn't this room though for error coming from the brands and the sales reps saying that? I agree with both of you guys. It depends on the tile application and how you guys are going to install it, that you will add less or more water into the mix, but technically speaking, scientifically speaking,
exactly,
it's compromising the mix of the product.
Yes.
But it's making your install work better.
Yes. So there's two ways to go about it. They're right. They're looking at it in the terms of strength. They reach their optimal strength if you follow this procedure, right? In terms of whatever their criteria is.
So there's a min and a max kind of thing to the strength of the adhesion?
Yeah. So think about it. Like if you use super glue and if you use a hot glue gun, right? There's a min-max point where it will fail, right? So by overwatering, that failure point is a lot sooner than if you were to put less water, right?
Okay.
So that's the thing. So now it depends on your application. If you're putting Schluter down, you don't need to have that much compressive strength. And if you do, the most important thing is that it's actually wet enough for it to adhere to the curdy board or to the drywall. Because if it's too dry, it's not going to stick.
But another important thing when it goes to the Detroit or the curdy board, that thin set's designed for flexing. And a lot of people don't realize that if you don't keep that consistency and you don't use a proper trowel, you're not going to have the movement that you're supposed to have when you buy this product. So the only thing that fails isn't the product, it's the installer and the way he's putting it in that makes it really fail sometimes.
It's all in together, right? I mean, a failure can happen at any point, right? You got to look at it as a whole.
But there's a variety of factors here. You could actually have a bad tile. You can have a bad substrate.
You can have a dusty tile. That's the most.
Yeah, so you can. I mean? So it's not necessarily always the thin set, right?
See, thin set's not. You know what this is? This is one thing, thin set, but this is absolutely true with grout. Thin set, I believe you can add more water to thin set and you will be.
You can
fine,
compromise thin
no
set.
problem.
Okay.
To a certain extent.
But we're talking about residential here. We're not talking about commercial exterior applications, commercial floors. Absolutely not. When you deal with commercial applications, 100% yes. But in terms of residential,
because there's different weight loads that has to carry.
Exactly, right? Yeah. But when you deal with grout, if you do not follow
and save that because I want to get into grout with you too. So I've been trying Mapei lately. I've been working with another tile company.
Why do you call it Mapei?
Mapei.
How do you pronounce it?
Mapei, like the typical.
I pronounce it Mapei. Why do you Mapei?
I like to Mapei it. So anyways, I've never been really a Mapei guy. I don't use Mapei, but I have recently started to use it because of the tile company I'm working with.
And you love it, don't you?
Well, it's not. It wasn't my choice to go to.
But now you love it.
I don't love it, but I don't mind it at all. Like now, I'll actually.
You'll take it to dinner.
I will use it, and they have had a couple products with grout that I think that their grout is the best grout out in the market.
Yes.
I'm not saying all their grouts are, but one particular one. But we'll get back into grout after.
Here's a little footnote. I get a call from this guy, Carlito. Man, yeah, can you give me that grout selection cardi thing, whatever?
The chart, the
The
chiclets?
chart, chiclets from
I got like three
from
of
Matt Pay. I need it. I can't get it. Can you get one? I make a few phone calls and I get him one. Here you go. Here you go. I got together with him and go, here you go. Here you go. It was like drug dealer or something like that. So he's got a Matt Pay chiclets.
Yeah, I was looking for the epoxy because we wanted to do some epoxy, right? And then I found out that Matt Pay carries whatever you carry in grout, you
Yes.
can carry in epoxy.
Yes.
So that's kind of cool. It's not like a selective few colors. You actually get to choose
The whole
all the
selection.
colors.
Yeah.
So that was a great turning point for my relationship with Matt Pay. You know me, I've always been a tech guy.
Yeah, I used to be too.
So I used to use non-modified and modified, but I just found that people always get it mixed up. So I like to get into that a little bit with you too.
Sure, we'll get into that, but we have a little segment to do first.
Well, okay, then we'll go back right into it. So
I want to ask. I want to get into the whole. Like, why are we still using unmodified products?
I don't.
We don't. We don't need it to
don't.
anymore. But we'll get into that. You want to get into that?
I do.
Yes, I
know,
do, or you don't.
this-
No, I do want to get into
I
it.
do.
You know what? It's yes, Schluter before even the beginning. It was must be unmodified, and then to people who are thinking this
And
is
I
gonna
was
fail.
I was still using modified.
So this is the thing.
Okay,
I
but the
did-
two differences for people that don't know about it is one is a chemical dry and one's
Yes.
an air dry.
Yes.
So for the longest time in this industry, you needed to know when to layer it and how to layer it.
Mm-hmm.
So usually the non-modified always went on the bottom, unless on plywood, then the modified would go on the plywood.
Yes.
Now
and that. Let's get to our segment.
okay. So we're gonna say
hang
hi
on,
to
hang
Mark
on.
from Skylux
There we
right
go.
now.
There we
That's
go.
part of our segment.
Skylux Roofing. Thanks so much, Mark, for letting us use the Skylux Studios here at the Skylux Workshop.
That's
in
right.
your Skylux Roofing business.
These guys are killing it. Absolutely.
Skylux is not today. It was raining today, but they
Yeah,
probably
but have you
some.
seen what he does?
the ACM, the work?
Yeah,
the roof,
like
everything.
he doesn't like. I don't think we really
crews
represent
are
him well
solid.
enough. He doesn't just do roofs. He doesn't just do flat roofs. This guy's work is above and beyond.
So technically,
Portuguese. What do you expect? He's the
technically,
best.
he's mixed Portuguese and Italian. Technically, this show's brought to you by Skylux. So we are talking to Omid at thetileguy.gta on IG. Then we've got him on email, which is thetileguygta@gmail.com. Is that correct?
thetileguy.gta@gmail.com.
That's what I said.
Okay.
647-716-5062. You got 3 6s in there, Lucifer.
Ooh, 666.
I like
the
this.
number of the beast. Sacrifice.
And it's also known as The Tile Guy Inc.
Ba-ba-ba-bum.
Bruh, bruh.
No,
That's
no, no,
who
no.
we are talking with. And so we have to do our segment, our second segment of the show.
Building code talk with Manny.
Take a guess, Carlito, what we're going to talk about on building code.
Whoa, it's gonna be the allowance of height from tile.
No.
It's gonna be the size of the trowel for the size of the tile.
Minimum subfloor thicknesses for tile install, according to the OBC, the Ontario Building Code. What is the minimum subfloor thickness for tile install? There's
11
keywords there.
sixteenths.
What'd you say?
11/16.
Nope.
Okay, so
5/8.
wait, no, you're gonna be
Yes.
surprised. You're gonna be very surprised on this one.
Yeah, so-
double 3/4.
No.
It's changed.
The minimum subfloor thickness for tile. There's keywords here. Subfloor.
Okay, what's
and
your
tile.
joist span, first of all?
That's not. It's 16 inch on center.
Okay.
Minimum thickness for tile is 1 1/8. That's you have to do a minimum of 5/8 subfloor.
Yep.
And a minimum of 1/2 inch some sort of cement backer board. That's what they're called.
Okay, it used to be double 3/4.
Yeah, so that's the minimum standard, right? So now our question is that we're so used to new construction being 3/4 ply,
Yeah,
right, on TGIs.
that's right.
And then we use a Schluter product, an uncoupling membrane, which
That's
is
right.
only, 1/8 inch thick?
Yep.
But it behaves like a 4-foot sand bed.
Yes, it does. And that's where I guess it gets away with the OBC because you're not getting to 1 1/8. Here's another question for you guys. Do you have to caulk? CAULK, and we are planning a podcast on caulking, which I'm really interested in because we're going to talk about caulking for 90
You're going to be
minutes.
talking about cock the whole time.
Do you have to caulk between tile joint and bathtub? According to the Ontario Building Code, do you have to?
I don't
Yes.
care if they say yes or no, I do.
They say yes, you have to.
Okay.
I
You
don't
do?
agree. I don't agree with it.
I do.
Because it's according to the CANCGI whatever standards. So, and there has to be a mildew-resistant sealant compound for tub and tile. It has to be
100% silicone.
Yeah, it has to be 100% silicone. So between walls and
No,
bathtub
it can be
or showers.
caulking.
No.
Because
No.
you can use silicone caulking and it behaves the same way. Yeah.
Good luck. Get that wet for a long period of time and then tell me.
It's never failed me.
Here's something that's interesting as part of the OBC, Part 9, of course, Section 30-5.1 regarding materials. Can you guys tell me what substrate can you use to lay tile on top of? That's actually cleared by the OBC.
Plywood.
There's a few of them here.
Yep.
So you've got plywood,
Concrete board.
concrete, rubber.
Rubber. There's thin sets that don't bond to rubber.
I'm just saying, according to the OBC, get this.
Wait, so
How does
Asphalt.
when you're saying rubber, do you mean like a waterproofing membrane that
It
you
says
roll on?
rubber. I'm assuming waterproofing membrane.
Okay.
So we got asphalt, rubber, vinyl, asbestos.
Okay, asphalt, I
Why
don't believe.
the fuck is
Which-
the Ontario Building Code approving vinyl asbestos?
do you
Because they don't want you to peel it up.
yeah.
So they want you to build on top of it.
Yeah.
And then unbacked vinyl or vinyl with an inorganic type backing. These are all approved. Like you
That's
can,
pure hack, man.
Is this 2016 building code?
This is 2016.
And-
this is the minimum. Guys, keep on. This is minimum. We're
No,
not doing maximum.
we're not
We should do a
attacking you.
construction.
We're
life.
attacking
I know.
the-
Don't attack
the minimum
messenger.
code. Yeah.
But I'm just saying we should actually do a maximum construction life OBC.
Well, I wanted to mention in high-rise condos, the tar always fails in the condos, and we have to completely peel it off and acid etch it to peel off all the tar before we can put the thin set down.
I just thought that was kind of interesting information.
Building code talk with Manny.
Thank you
Excellent.
very much there, Carlito.
I'm getting very personal with this. I'm like really hating that I heard
Well,
those things.
I just want to let everybody know that if they're not familiar with the environment here, outside of the guests that have been here, normally on an average podcast, actually for every single podcast we've ever had, Carlito has like a stack of papers around him. Occasionally you'll hear it fall and it'll be in the background. But today's show, he doesn't have any papers at all, making me nervous. Oh, there they are. We are talking to Omid at thetileguy.gta, thetileguy.gta@gmail.com, 647-716-5062. It's The Tile Guy, Inc. Incorporated.
yes.
Let's get back to tiling, and we were talking about modified, unmodified.
Well, I was getting
your poison.
I was using tech. I've been using tech for decades. I ended up going
old
to.
are you?
I ended up. I'm pretty old. I ended up going for Tech 487, and it was.
That sounds like a toothpaste.
It really helped out all my guys. Like all my guys didn't have to think about bringing me the right thin set or screwing up and
'Cause it
bringing me
says
the
on the
wrong
bag,
one.
yeah.
That really helped. But
Get-
I know we're going to the point of like modified and non-modified, and
Curious
what
about it.
we could just use modified. It's nice, but I think they have their place in a commercial level.
Let's talk custom residential.
Okay, but I did want to say one more thing. Like when it came to color, I really like using the gray for all my Schluter product, because if I ever have to do a cleanup or pull something out, I know when I'm hitting.
Well, you see
Schluter
when you, if
product.
you got any air pockets, you can
Yeah.
see with the gray. Yeah.
And I like to skim the floor completely, and I don't always like to use the white. So
Which you bring up a really good point. I guess all three of us are Schluter guys.
Yeah.
yes,
Anybody here at the table waterproof with anything else?
yeah, I do.
What are you using?
Because I deal with blue collar and I work with different GCs.
So what are you using? Air?
So no, I always convince them, or I'll walk away from the job if I see a rubber pan. I'm gone. Schluter is typically the shower pan. It's typically like the waterproofing in the pan area.
Are you a foam tray guy or a dry pack? You're a dry pack guy.
Absolutely.
Omid's a dry. He's always been a dry pack guy.
I've been a dry pack guy only because a lot of the projects I go into, I don't have a pan I can drop in. And
But the pan is so easy to use.
I know, but I don't like cutting the sides because you got to build them up, and then you don't have that perfectly level outside
I don't
edge.
know.
But if you're doing a standard 32 by 60, boom, drop it, offset center.
I think
No?
when you've done dry pack as long as you and I have,
Man, I've done it for what, 8 years. It's not really long. Come on.
yeah, I know. But when you're
Carlito's
doing
done it for 80 years.
when you're doing it, all you do is tiles.
I swear, if you see historical pictures from Vienna or something like that, it's him.
Hi.
In the picture.
No, but when you just do tiles, like I do I do everything like I'm, like
Yeah.
a GC. You're like
I'm
you
like a
lay
GC.
tile. You lay tile all the time.
Yeah.
So like your numbers are higher. So
Yeah.
you're doing it more often than most people.
So what are the benefits? So outside of cutting the foam and not making it fit perfectly to your shape of the shower area, what are the benefits? Or
Time.
it's faster to do dry pack?
and
Well,
cheaper?
no. It's not faster. I'm saying the reason why people stick with the foam is they don't have to think about anything. You can have your helper do basically your dry pack, right? You basically put thin set down, make sure the substrate is level, press down, and walk away.
That's a key point. Level, you said.
The thing is, I've never been to a job except yours where the floor is actually level.
Not this one you're coming up at.
So that's the thing. Now, your substrate's never level. You're going to spend time to try and level it off your pan, right? And to get your perfect slope and this and that. For me, it's easier for me to put the pitch that I feel comfortable, works with the specific tile. I know it's solid. It's not foam, man. Punch foam. What's going to happen to it?
Yeah, but once you lay it with tile,
Okay, but 90% of the jobs, you're going to put foam down,
and people are kneeling
and
on
people
it.
are kneeling on it.
Yeah.
You're going to drop
That's the
something
one
on
problem
it.
I have with the foam tray.
So the way we do ours is we dry pack, we do everything, no problem. But the minute that we waterproof that, nobody is in that area until the tile is in.
That's right.
Right? But these pans now come with the membrane on it. Well, you can attach to it. But
Yeah.
it's got the foam already there. So you put your knee on it,
it's already depressed.
it's
I know.
already depressed. Now you're going to put your foam, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
I did
using
a dry pack one time for Omid just to get ahead of the game there, and
I
he
wanted
came
to
back and he
shoot
goes,
you.
"Holy fuck! How much water did you put in here?" I got too tired, man. It was like too thick.
Yeah, it can behave like Portland if you put too
Well,
much
it is
water.
Portland and sand.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, like when you're troweling it out,
Yeah,
it could
'cause it
actually
is
be like a
Portland.
concrete slab instead
Yeah.
of dry pack and like feathering it.
Mine
and-
wasn't like a snow, it wasn't like a baseball.
Yeah,
This
Mine
guy
was-
flipped the bucket and the thing stayed the look of the bucket for sure.
Holy
100%.
I was like, it doesn't need to be that dry. It doesn't matter if dry is in the word. It was like moist pack.
It's pretty
Man likes to
crazy.
make everything
It is
wet.
pretty crazy how little water you need as long as you've done it right.
I've done it right. I was just lazy that day. That's all.
The
Another
amount
thing,
of skimming I had to do.
another reason I like the dry pack is the drains are never centered. So
The drains, what do you mean?
a
No,
lot
you're
of
supposed
times
to make
guys
them
never.
center.
I know, but there's a lot of hack work out there, and
Oh, I mean for the okay, yeah, because they come already
Yeah.
supposed to be center drain. Yeah, that's true.
so I get to do it. I really do like the dry pack myself. I find it's really cheap. I go buy 4 or 5 bags for $5 a piece, and I'm done in 2 hours. And I just come back the next day, and I'm rocking and rolling again.
Okay, so I'm curious. What if Schluter did not exist? What would you guys be using?
Well, you would use the rubber liner. What else would
No.
it be? Because Schluter is the first one that started this.
So what would you be using if it wasn't Schluter
They-
didn't exist?
They came up with this
is the
membrane,
this is the
and
crazy
everyone
part.
copied.
This is the crazy part. When I started, when I was a kid,
In
and I'm
Vienna?
48, I'm a man now, and it's been 30
Barely.
years in this business. I'm not joking. It's always been there for me, so I've never known anything else.
Schluter?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, what if Schluter didn't exist? What would you be using?
Well,
Yeah.
look how they did it before.
Well, it'd be three
They
things.
used a
It'd be a
liner.
rubber
Or they used-
liner.
or they use the hot mop, which they don't do here in the US.
which is a tar.
Yeah.
You're going to use a fiberglass or acrylic pan.
Pan, yeah.
And they always fail. They crack, they shift, they collapse. That's my opinion. I don't put them in. Anytime someone wants me to put it in, I go, just go get someone that does hotels. Bye. And I walk away from it because I don't want any failure.
Do you handle all your customer service?
Yeah. No, I'm just being honest. This is a platform for us to be honest with our experiences, right?
Apparently too honest. Okay, we got a lot to talk about still.
Wait,
So-
hang on a second.
What?
Let's go to custom. I want to cover all the thin sets first.
I thought we
So
talked about
custom,
custom.
well, custom's new in the not new in the game. They were always the Home Depot.
Yeah.
But now they're kind of, I guess they're kind of rebranding themselves. There's a lot of guys on Instagram are starting to do the change and try it out, right? Why not? They're saying, hey, we'll give you free bags. Try this out. So people try it out. I guess they like it. It's very creamy.
But it's also very tough. Like
It's very good.
It is a good product.
It is a good product. It is.
Yeah.
I actually like Versabond. It works very well. The
Yeah.
sand is there. The good thing with the Versabond is it really likes ceramic tile. It stays wet.
Versabond. That's a Home Depot product.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
custom
it's
blend.
a custom blend.
Oh,
It's
is
the
that
best
so
one they
Home
have.
Depot.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, they have
That
the
premium.
Megalite, right?
And the Megalite, yeah.
But that stuff is will eat your tools.
I can't tell you the last time I actually bought a bag of thin set from a big box store.
I just find that it's so expensive. Like I've built a
Yeah.
relationship up with the tile companies that I deal with. Unless a homeowner actually gives it to me, I would never go and buy that thin set from a
I
box
don't
store.
see. That's funny that you say that. Any thin set or grout that usually
Wouldn't
that
it
the
make
homeowner
sense
gives,
that
I
the
don't-
tile person purchased it?
Yeah, the thing is too, you don't know where they got it. You don't know
Oh, yeah, when?
where
it
if
was
the bag was
stored.
open, where it was stored.
True.
Well,
So-
and leading to storage, I think that nobody's talked about this, and I've been trying to make it. I've been trying to share this experience with everyone. Is that when you buy a bag of thin set, always check the date. Because literally after 3 months of it sitting on the shelf, it's lost its shelf life. So now you're applying a thin set or mixing a thin set that's no longer working
I
properly.
know. So how much
It's-
longer after the shelf life does it
It
have
will
floor
work,
life?
but it won't be at the strength
It won't be
at
that
which
product.
stated
Yeah.
on the bag.
So I'm just saying, people should read and not just get a leftover inventory before they use it. If you're a pro, that's what you're going to look for, and you're going to let the companies know that you're dealing with that you're not going to take old product.
I mean, to be very honest, a bag of thin set is what on average? $25 a bag?
No,
I don't know. What
You
are
go to
getting
big
into?
box store, it could be $58.
No, okay.
$58.
Our trade pricing.
Our trade prices
Trade
go between
pricing?
Trade pricing.
25 to 35.
Thank you. That's what I was expressing. I was expressing trade pricing.
Yeah.
Okay. So $25 if you got a half a bag and shelf life is a month away or whatever. Just get rid of the bag if it's done. I don't give a shit. Buy a new bag. No.
Yeah, I don't hang
Oh,
on to. I don't
see-
hang on to thin set anymore. I,
Oh,
I
do,
throw it
'cause
away right away.
Well, the thing is, if
He
you
goes
do it
through so
every
much of
day-
it. That's why.
Like in the back of my van, I have almost any color of grout from a pay.
but this is all you do, and you should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the thing is, I know we're gonna go through it. I know the colors that we're gonna go through. There's no, even if we have an open bag in the back of the van, in a week or two, it's gone. Grout, especially. So every time we buy grout, it's 25-pound bags because it's always gonna be frost, charcoal. What else is there? The black, the white, and
I'm surprised Benjamin
That's it.
Moore hasn't gotten into the game and started calling Chantilly lace grout.
Well,
Yeah.
flex
That's
tile.
a frost. It's actually a frost.
It's a
Flex
frost?
If you look at
tile
it, it's
does
frost.
carry dyes, and I've used them. And you
You're
can
putting it into the mix?
you can dye your grout afterwards, or you can dye it.
Why can't we just do epoxy? Epoxy.
Yeah, well,
Epoxy.
Epoxy. Epoxy.
epoxy's
No?
dangerous too.
No,
Why?
What
What are you
don't-
using?
I'm using
CQ?
using Ultracolor FA.
Ultra, yeah, that's even
Well,
better.
can we
Ultra
wait?
Clear?
Can we cover all the grouts? I mean, all the thin sets.
What other thin set you want to talk about? The
What else
Carlito
there's?
thin set? What's going on?
No, well, there's other things to talk about with thin set before we get too far into the grout, because I know we'll get lost in the grout in no time.
I know.
Okay, so two of my big pet peeves: guys that are laboring for me never clean my buckets.
You
And
should clean your own buckets.
I always
First of all-
clean my own buckets,
Okay, good.
and even when I have laborers, I still have to go clean my
Hang on
own
a second,
buckets.
Omid. Does the surgeon do the final stitching up or what?
no.
Okay.
It's together.
No, it's not.
Sure it is.
Surgeon puts the hands up, gone, boom. Nurses come in.
No, that's not a good surgeon then.
No, you know what?
This is teamwork. You know, doctors are one thing.
I agree with
This
you.
is teamwork.
I agree.
I mean,
I
if
think
you-
the whole crew should clean up at the end.
Everybody, because
But okay, that
especially
brings up a good point. Are you leaving the bucket dirty and just going to break it up in the morning, or are you going to leave it clean at night?
So it depends. See, we usually end our days basically when the bucket is done. If for whatever reason there's a little bit extra, if it's a lot, we'll dump majority of it, but we'll leave the less than quarter we leave in the bucket.
Just to break it in the morning.
And the next morning, tap the back of the bucket, and away you go.
What about
Yeah.
all this? What about all the cool kids using this Beastmaster or whatever crap
And
bullshit?
apparently, it's $200 for one of those.
That
things.
condom?
Okay.
That condom, right?
Yeah.
So I bought a little spinner.
It's a condom. Isn't it
made
a
for
condom?
cleaning buckets.
Yeah.
It's amazing, but what's even better is I bought one of those old school back rubbing scrubbers, and I just wash my
loofah?
bucket.
A loofah brush?
A big long one. It's like 2 feet
Really?
long, and I
That's
just
actually clever.
I just clean the bucket, and I take my sponge, I clean it.
I mean, you
And
have
that's it.
sponges there.
That's
you know?
clever. I like that
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, and it goes a long way.
The guys that I know that tile every day have bought it and say this is the stupidest thing and this makes no sense.
What are you talking
It's
about?
funny.
The bucket, the condom
The
thing?
condom bucket. It's funny. The videos that you see of these guys, they're like, look, it's like a half a bucket of thin set that they flip over. What are you doing with a half a bucket of thin set? Finish
money.
the job so you don't have
Yeah.
half a bucket left. Some almost a full bucket. For
But-
what reason?
So it's not a
But
good
Omid,
product?
I mean, maybe guys that do it once in a while that have 1 or 2 buckets in their truck and they don't have space for multiple, sure, right? If you need that clean bucket,
Dude, I have 10 buckets in my truck at all times.
yeah.
And one thing I hate is all these tile guys always tell me, just throw it out. You know what the first thing they do is try to steal my bucket. But I have Construction Life stickers on mine. And I go, give me my bucket back before I rip your eye out.
How many stickers did I give you?
I have enough, okay? And did you give me enough? That's the question.
No, we have to make more because everybody wants to get tagged the Construction Life. Can we move on to like grout?
Well, do you think we've covered everything in thin set that anyone could learn about this? Because I think it's so important.
You need to, you know what? The best thing to do is buy the bag that you think that, you know, people might say it's working for them and whatever, and try it out. Try it out for yourself. Mix it the way that it's stated or as do you feel comfortable. The following day, take it up. Okay? So like the same thing, like Manny and I, we said before, with unmodified, with Schluter, we haven't done. I myself, we use modified for Schluter.
I will not use their thin set.
Okay.
Anyways.
I'm talking about modified thin set.
No. Modified versus
okay.
non-modified
All right.
thin sets. I've always used modified.
Grab unmodified thin set, get your Curdy band,
Try
put
it
it on
out.
your screw, right, and put it on. So do it with a modified and unmodified. Peel both of them the next day. Watch how fast you'll peel the unmodified compared to the modified. And from there, you can figure out what you want to do.
I know, but
this is a product that was told to us by the beginning not to be used with Curdy.
okay, but there's something I need to say something also is that the non-modified, it's drying, where the modified is staying
So
wet.
the thing is this: Schluter's got the fleece. That fleece is thick. There's air and move still allowed to go in and around that when it's for it to dry. How else? So how will it? The unmodified, how would the modified dry then?
Well,
how is that possible?
another thing I want to lead to is that the non-modified is definitely more sandy than the modified.
And that's the problem. You don't get a bond.
I know, but we're talking about structural again. And since that's the base, it's really important to stay structural. So, because we're not chemists and we're not engineers.
But are you saying that the unmodified is stronger than the modified?
I think the unmodified is stronger because it's designed to take weight, load, and flexibility.
But we're not talking...
Because sand is designed for flexing.
I agree
twists.
with you. But
so there you
have
go.
you ever
That
done
goes based off the thin set now.
Have you ever done that test? Have you ever just done just a test and let it cure for the day, both sides, both versions?
I'm totally aware of what exactly he's saying because I've had to go back and clean other people's work up, even my own. Sometimes like something get changes and I rip it up, and I notice that it doesn't stick as good as modified would. But I never change that unless it's like
why.
That's why I use the 487. I found that it's been stamped by Schluter, and it's a non-modified modified. So.
Yeah.
I get the best of both worlds in it, right?
Do you know what an unmodified modified is? It's a modified thin set.
Yeah, but one's still a chemical and one's an air. So like,
No,
The
it's a
chemical-
hybrid. That's what it is. It's a hybrid. That's all.
it's
it
more
is.
glue,
So,
more elastomers.
yeah, but just try it. That's the best thing to do.
All right, so before we get into grouts, because we may even not get to grouts, because you keep on pushing grouts off.
No.
wanna
There's so
talk
much
about
to talk
grouts.
about growth.
I want to talk about failures.
What kind of failure? Though?
Okay, so I personally have had failures with glass mosaics on a Schluter
Yeah, you
waterproofing.
can't.
You can't because you have to use a specific thin set for glass.
Yes.
But it did not adhere. So I ended up using Granny Rapid and it stuck like forever. Right? It was harder to work with, but that worked. So I want to talk about failures. So if you're talking about modified, non-modified products against porcelain, ceramic, marbles, or whatever, where are the failures?
So this is the thing. Glass. That's a good thing you brought up. Translucent glass and Schluter don't like each other.
No, they
Okay.
hate each other. It's
So
like Croatians and Portuguese.
So, so here's the thing.
shit.
So now, why
I
don't you
just beat you to it. That's all. You're going to say the same thing. Yeah.
think about it a different way? So look, you have two problems. One doesn't like the other. So how can you make it so that the thing that works with your tile works with, let's say, the Schluter? Why don't you skim your Schluter
I was due.
with a planty patch with a thin set before that sets? Once that's set, now you can use whatever you want to adhere your glass to that substrate.
Do you concur with that, there, Captain?
It's
do.
It's a simple thing, right? It's not too much thinking involved. You just gotta step back and see, okay, this doesn't work with this work with this. Does these two go together? Yes, done.
But we also agree that every professional in this industry has said that the best for porcelain or glass is a more sanded product than it is more modified with less sand.
No,
I would say
no, it will scratch.
For glass, I would say a rapid setting thin set would be the best for glass. That's my experience.
I've always been told that the more sand, the better it adheres to it. And that's why I liked when you said at the beginning.
Glass got no pores.
That's with the mesh you're talking about, though.
Yes.
Glass with
Sorry.
mesh.
Well, I never do trust the backing of
What about
any
paper
glass
face?
tiles.
Paper face glass.
I don't trust that either, and if I do, I usually use glue. So I'm a glue guy. We could talk about glue.
I don't touch glue.
There's 3 different kinds of glue. There's
You're talking about
waterproof.
mastic?
Yeah.
People still make mastic?
Yes. So there's 3 different types of glue, but we need to talk about it
You
because
can't use glue in a shower.
no, I'm not saying in a shower, but I am saying
Most of the time you're using glass mosaics, it's going to be in a shower.
Or
Well,
backsplash.
Backsplash.
So I have had to do a
Glue?
couple commercial
Mastic?
restaurants,
Really?
and what they made me do is the engineer scoped. They basically made me take a glue and do the whole. Like I made a shower vanity. I mean shower vanity. A vanity,
yeah.
and I tiled all of it with 1x1s. They made me use a mastic that was made for it. There is a mold and mildew free mastic.
I can't agree with you.
Which
dude.
is
mastic does
which
not,
is glue.
Mastic does not belong in any tile application.
Backsplashes.
Mastic will bond better to tile than cement if it doesn't get wet.
Yes.
If you get drywall and you use mastic on any, let's say even
You'll peel it right off the skin.
6x6 tile, okay? And I've seen this because we've demoed. A good example is a lot of the high rises in the 80s and 90s, well, maybe late 90s.
All mastic?
It was mastic, right?
Yeah,
So-
we talked about that with the young guy. They were putting it on the floor, too.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the funny thing is, we just did a demo job today, and the guy he ran out of thin set, and he started using mastic. But when we were chipping it out, it was a lot harder to chip the mastic than with the cement because it bonds a lot better to the concrete floor. But if it gets wet, it loses its bond strength. It turns back into glue.
And it tears the skin of the paper off.
It tears it exactly, right? So
And it turns the
it's-
compound back to putty.
Exactly.
We were
So-
told by somebody, I'm trying to remember who it was, but they tell us that some guy was using PL to install all the tiles. And we're like, what?
slabs.
No, it wasn't slabs. It was tiles and stuff. Like, and did you know that Carlito told me that PL is used on the space shuttle? Eh?
You still haven't looked it up, but you keep on talking. Another really important thing, since we're on mastic, and I don't want to lose this thought.
Why do you like mastic so much, dude? I'm so against it.
We need to talk about a couple things here.
Sure.
So
You bring it up and discuss it.
So one of the things is I saw a guy the other day. He brings me glass tiles, and then he brings me some porcelain tiles, and then he gives me a cheap glue, and he says, "I want you to put this on." I say, "Do you see it says ceramic on there? Does it say porcelain? Because porcelain's still in the glass family, but that's the difference. Like, don't buy a glue because it's $10 cheaper." And use it for glass or for porcelain, because it's not going to adhere as the same
This
as
is
the more
my
expensive.
argument. Like whatever adhesion you're using, it's not big. Like what's the most expensive adhesion that you can use for a tile stone application? What's the most you'll ever spend? Even a rapid set bag, maybe what's the like trade price? $75 at the most.
Well, they have
That's even
$100
higher
bags.
than what I was going to say.
They have
$50.
X77 retails
So
for about
are you
90.
really going to take a chance on like 50 a square tile or marble or porcelain or mosaic and use some sort of $10 mastic bullshit?
And now another really important thing is for the Americans and Australians and Europeans listening to us right now. They don't even use half of these products because they're just doing a scratch coat and then they're doing a Portland right onto the tile and just beating it into place and it never moves.
But they're doing a
But this
proper
is in Canada.
thick-
What
yeah.
we're doing here is for Canada.
Specifically in Toronto,
Yeah.
idiots are still using the wire mesh.
What is that, guys? Please tell me that.
That's a Toronto thing. That's strictly a Toronto lazy bullshit thing.
So the only time I find so if we can kind of skip from that into chicken wire, because chicken wire has always been a pet peeve of mine. The only time I use chicken wire are for
Chickens.
three things. One, if I'm using a self leveler that doesn't have any
Do
bonding.
you mean metal lath?
Yeah.
Metal lath. I call it
You're
chicken
still
wire.
using
Sorry.
that too?
Only for specials, like for certain self-levelers that have
You
been
have
handed
to.
to
You
me.
have to.
Hang on.
Not all of them.
I
Custom-
gotta get another brush here. I'm painting a really fucked up picture of you, man. You're using mastic and you're using chicken wire and you're using fucking scratch coat.
Yeah, man.
Why?
Because there's commercial jobs that have been priced out,
See
and,
what
the,
Omid
and
does-
the
see what Omid
materials
does
a
to
shitload
people?
of-
You see this?
and the materials are supplied, and that's what they want installed. Another
Can
thing.
you say failure?
Okay, so hang on a second, and because Omid's going to agree with me here. When it comes to lath wire, well, I call it chicken
Metal
wire.
Chicken wire is different than metal
Yeah,
wire.
it's a lot larger. It's like
There's
and it's circulars, right?
Yeah, it's true.
I only use it for self-leveler
Which you have to with
on certain products,
Yep.
not all.
majority.
Yeah. Or if I'm going to do a sand bed mix, sometimes, which a dry pack. Some guys use thin set trowels.
But
Some guys
how
use,
thick are you making that sand bed mix? You're not making it one. You're not.
No,
Like,
no. It'll never be thin.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
My minimum is like 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. That's
and
proper.
then there's one other place. I put it in places where mice want to come in so they can chop their arms off. But I can't handle it. The other day I saw a guy, I walked into a house and I
can't
and I
handle
looked
all
at
the
guy
mice
and he-
dying?
and he says, "Hey, listen, I know you're going to do the washroom upstairs, but I hired this guy down the street. He's planning to do the front foyer." And I looked down and I'm like, "Was there chicken lath here? Lath wire?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's going to do it again. And I'm like, "Why?
gonna
Because the
rust.
OSB?" And I'm like, "Listen, you know what? Get a 1/4 inch of any kind of ply, put it over top, screw it down, glue it, start with your Schluter again."
And on that note, we have Carlito's Green Book.
Ooh, hi.
A green book.
Don't worry. Just
I
say.
thought-
Just,
wasn't it black before?
No, just say 550.
Hey, for you, it's always black.
Just say 550, Omid. 550. That's all.
You know, in my neighborhood, they called me beige. And I got probably more tracksuits than anyone you know. So we're always doing a minimum. Right now, we've been going through minimum requirements on the job site.
Uh-oh.
So right now, there's
Are you
an
doing
inspector.
second offenses?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Inspector comes on your job site. First offense is going to be how much? And here it is.
Money.
Constructor failing to make written measures and procedures available to every employee on project.
Huh? Say that again.
Constructor failing to make written measures and procedures available to every employee on the project. You come on the job site, you don't get the paperwork.
$500.
It's usually like $550, but how much do you think it is?
I'm going to say 250.
No, it's $550, Bob.
Bob's your uncle.
No, but the point of that lesson is, and that's a first offense, is that if you're a GC or you're working on a site, they need to give you this stuff so that you're aware of what's going on site, right?
And that was Carlito's Green Book. 550. We're talking to Omid at thetileguy.gta, thetileguy.gta@gmail.com.
Correct, Amando.
647-716-5062.
With the 3 6s, right?
Lucifer. The Tile Guy.
666.
Ink.
Thank you.
There's only one Tile Guy Ink out there. The other guy, I don't know who that guy is.
Yes, you do.
No, I do not. Never hired, never worked, never want. I don't care. Never been on the show.
Before we get into grout, and I know you guys are totally horny for grout.
Yeah, the grout. This
can
how
we-
about
Let's talk
grout.
about self-levelers. We kind of went
Whoa.
from thin set. We should have started with self-levelers
Don't
and
go there,
substrates.
man.
Why do you
went
want to
there
go to
too fast.
self-levelers?
You gotta
Because I
warm
think
us
it's-
up before you go to levelers. Come on.
Aye. I think it's important. I mean, I
Yeah.
use self-levelers on
Sure.
every
it's really
single
simple.
project.
Call Paul and order Lafarge Geely Screed.
Yeah, in large jobs. Okay. So let's get in realistic now. And we're doing a washroom job. What kind of self-levelers do
10
you
by
like?
10 is a large job.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, fine. What kind of? Who has self-levelers? Because I'm hearing from
Everybody does. Everybody
Ardex.
does.
No,
Yeah, Ardex is the one I use because you don't
Yeah,
need the
I
lath.
do too.
I've used Mapei's product, but we were talking about
The
tile.
Nova Plan Plus.
Nova Plan, yeah.
I use that too.
What I'm trying to get to is most guys they'll take an extra 2 bags and they'll back butter all their tiles up to like 3/4 or an inch.
That makes no sense, man.
And they'll be back buttering and filling up the floor instead of just coming in the day before, doing this dry pack and then dropping a bag or two of self-leveler,
Yeah.
walking away, going to get the material, come back, and it's ready for you to lay a new substrate.
Honestly, like leveler, like it's Leveler, like for us, if there's going to be mosaic on the floor, sure, we're putting a leveler down because it's going to make your life easier. It's flat, it's ready to go, right? If you're using large tile, if you have to build up, dry pack. You know what I mean? If you have that 3/4 build up you need to do, I would always rather dry pack than put leveler. Because the cost difference between a leveler and dry pack is maybe 5 times the difference. You dry pack
Yeah, but
it,
you're also spending a lot more time on your knees and on the ground.
it depends. Yeah, that's true as well.
And you got to kind of balance that cost out, right? Like me being
Yeah.
on the ground for 2 hours doing lath and scratch coating it, leveling it, lasering it, making it. I could just drop a couple bags down and see ya.
It's true, but the thing is too, it's a lot more messy too with the leveler. You know, you need a large bucket. You got to make sure everything is covered, nothing gets splashed. And one thing too, you got to watch out. These older homes that are 90 plus years old, the ones that have their
Diagonal boards.
Okay, have fun trying to seal that and not have the leveler go downstairs.
I usually always put a substrate on top of that.
Yes, but still, because it'll go in between the cracks, right? And
That's
go
where you get
down.
spray foam.
In between the new layer of flooring that you put on top, there's a chance that it'll go through there, right?
Ardex
So-
carries the patch.
Yeah.
Usually I'll patch all that
Patch, and
stuff.
then that's what you're supposed to do.
And then I do the self leveler
Yeah.
on top of that. And it makes a huge difference. And I can ramp up whatever I need to.
Yeah. But majority of the time, the reason why you're using leveler is because you don't want to build up the floor. As
That's
well,
right.
Right? So,
And this is all about education. It's not really about what you and me do
Yeah.
every day, but presenting it to. I mean, I use it. I do actually use self leveler. Like sometimes I don't even talk to the homeowner about it because if I start talking about self leveler, the first thing they want to do is say, "Oh, I don't want to pay for that." So what? You're gonna pay for me to be on my knees with 2 extra bags?
No, but you guys went in for a scope of work. So
Yeah, that's why I say I don't talk about it. I just add it into my mix of what my needs
you
are.
got to think
and
about the time saving too, right?
True.
So, I mean, a lot of the time, oh man, I forgot to think, we need some leveler here. I'm not going to go to the homeowner and say, by the way, we need 4 bags of leveler. It's going to cost us much more. You should have thought of that. I should have seen that. If I missed it out, it's on me.
Yeah, that's why I always bring
End of story.
I bring a laser and
Yeah.
a measuring tape and I mark it out on the floor and I'm good to go.
Can we finally talk about grout?
Sure, let's go to
Grout.
grout.
Let's
But I
talk
would
about-
like to talk about waterproofing still after this.
Oh, we talked about
No,
waterproofing.
I wanted to talk about the blue and the green and the red and like if you guys like it.
Red Guard?
Yeah, I just
Aqua
want to talk
Defense?
about it. I
Go
think
ahead. We just spoke about it.
I wanted to see Manny failed. Everything failed for Manny. Has any of that stuff failed for you?
I don't trust
I've
it.
used all of them with the red guard, with the liquid applied. It's the bonding to your wall that I find is the issue. So like with red guard, you need 2 layers with
Yeah,
a
for sure.
roller, certain nap roller to get, I believe it's a 2 mil thickness. If you grab the corner of whatever wall application you did and you pull it, it's going to pull right off like a sheet of
I've never seen that
anything.
happen.
Try it out. Do as they say.
But I also use Durabond in my shower areas. I wouldn't have any normal CGC products, even
It's
at the minimum.
Sand, that's the issue with that. For me, it's not necessary. Anytime I do Schluter, anything, I'll always get waterproofing liquid applied and put it on the edges. That's just me. It's actually, you're not supposed to because actually I believe it voids the warranty from Schluter.
So why are you doing that?
So the reason why I'm doing that is in case I, for whatever reason, did not, let's say if my helper or myself, the cement, let's say, when you squeeze out the cement from the corners, sometimes you might, squeeze too much
Too
out,
much.
right? So if you do that, there's a chance that a corner of it might be, left loose, right? And you walking around, you might, it might be exposed, right? There's a chance for water to get in behind the tile, and I don't want it to go into the corner. So what I do is I waterproof the edges so that I know the edges of it is bonded to the wall. So that means there's no way for water to go in through there. And one thing too is capillary action, right? So a lot of guys, they'll do their waterproofing, but they won't wipe down the edges of their Schluter, their band. So if you put water on cement, it's gonna suck the moisture, right, to wherever it's dry. So now you have dry thin set in behind. If you pour water, someone actually did this, they tested it, where you get a piece of curdy band, and let's say you don't wipe it, you wet the area that's exposed, and you wait, I don't know, half an hour, then pull off that curdy band, in behind will get wet because it will wick through. Mm-hmm. So if you don't wipe that, then there's a chance for that to happen. So if you wipe it and on top of that you waterproof the edges, there's no water that's going to go in.
Well,
that's just my way of doing it, and that's the only way that we do it.
I just want to speak up about the reason. There's two reasons why I don't like those other products over Curdy. First reason is marketing. I don't like the names. Okay? So hang on.
Most important for you, of course.
Exactly. I've got a train of thought here, okay? It's called Aqua Defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Red Guard. What's Schluter's version called?
Schluter isn't...
Curdy.
Yeah,
Curdy board.
Yeah, Curdy band, Curdy board.
So it's kind of like you buying condoms, Carlito. Are you going to buy STD protector or are you going to buy Trojan?
I'm gonna
I don't use condoms.
I'm gonna buy extra large Trojan from Sheep.
My point is, I feel that those products need to reinforce a more dynamic name to them to sell them.
That's branding.
I know, and it's poor branding in my opinion. The second thing I have is that I'm not a huge fan of any construction products that have to be made on site.
Okay.
So you have to have a specific thickness of
Yes.
that Red Guard,
Yes.
of that Aqua Defense.
Yep.
Aqua Defense has to be applied at a certain temperature, and it has to be covered by a certain time.
Yes.
You are the chemist. You talk about chemists. You are the chemist on site now. With Curdy, what do? You grab the board, you cut it with an X-Acto knife, you put it on, you screw it on, and you put the Curdy band, and you're done.
Yep.
That's what I have a problem with. Those other products.
All right. So getting to that, I also, I'm a Schluter guy.
I'm a Schluter guy.
The only
Omid,
product
you a Schluter guy?
the
Absolutely.
only product
see my
that
basement.
Schluter makes that is waterproof is Schluter board.
Curdy board.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only waterproof one. The rest of them are water resistant, not waterproof.
What are you talking about?
When you read about Schluter, it's not waterproof, it's water resistant.
The Curdy membrane is waterproof.
On the board.
On the board.
Only on the board.
And the band.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is, man.
So if you,
Yes, it is.
you can test it. I guess fold a piece of Curdy
Yeah.
band,
I
pour
know.
water in it. That's it.
I've gone over this with them, and they've told me that it's still not leaking, but they're not putting waterproof on it. It's water resistant.
I think it's more for liability than.
There's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And what I was getting to is in some applications, yes, Schluter is always my go-to, and I would love to use it on all my job sites. But sometimes I'll get I did a gym 7-8 months ago. I did a gym, and in that gym, it wasn't scoped out in the price to even do any waterproofing except for in the pan. They just wanted board and lay the tile over
Commercial
top.
application, yeah.
So you know what? That's when something like a non-callback for drywall repairs or mold or mildew, I went ahead and I threw that in there for a bucket. And I threw in the bucket, put the cotton corners in. And you know what? I reassured myself that my work was bulletproof. It might not be all the products I want. And that's why I say to you, sometimes I bounce back and forth from designers or from builders, and they already have products on site. For the majority of the time, you get a fresh job and Manny gets a custom home, but I'm going around fixing all the bad jobs from all the bad contractors. And it's not really the product that's failed. It's about the contractor, how they've installed it
It's
or how they
always that.
work with
It's
it.
always that.
Okay, but here's the problem that I have, and designers, I think every designer I know has chosen tile. They've gone through the whole selection process, have gotten the samples, have mixed and matched, have gotten different thicknesses, depth, whatever, have designed, all this other crap. By the end of it, I forgot about waterproofing. They don't even know. Most designers don't even know about waterproofing options.
Yeah.
They just know about the design part of it.
And there's a lot of people that don't.
So when they
use
get to it,
waterproofing.
all of a sudden they get to the job site, they've spent all the money regarding
Yes.
the budget,
Yes.
and now there's nothing. So then here you go, apply these $100 marble tiles on this drywall. How is that? That you got to right off the bat say, I can't warranty that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the thing. I've actually had that happen.
It
was the
happens.
beginning of the summer. It was a $3 million home on Old Mill. It was the exact same thing. It was slabs, and it was a steam room actually, and they had they wanted an 8-foot bench,
Wow.
and they wanted to extend it 32 inches out. So they wanted to lay down on it, right? That was one thing. The second thing was it would need to get sloped, and they just wanted to say, okay, just put dry pack, and that's it. Can't you just put the plastic down and dry pack? I said, it's so you walk in, it needs to be waterproof from the door to the drain. So they think that you can just put the membrane down and put the dry pack and you're fine, you know? They don't. It depends on the designer, right? A lot of people would rather pay to see something look nice than it being functional. It may be the reason that, you know what, we're selling the house and we don't really care, but it's not the right thing to do, and it doesn't really cost that much more to get done.
Yeah.
Why not do it right from
Is it fair to
beginning?
say that if you're using natural stones and you don't waterproof properly, that those stones are going to start to discolor over time? Because water's
for sure.
right?
Yeah.
That has to do with
calcium,
the sealer,
iron,
though,
everything
right?
else.
That's
that goes
all
in
to
there.
do with the sealer, though.
And maintenance. And,
True.
And the maintenance of keep doing those sealers.
Yeah.
So can we finally get the grouts?
Sure. Let's get into grouts.
Let's talk about grouts.
The only two grouts that I'll use is Tech and Mapei.
What do you think about your polyblend, your Home Depot polyblend?
I hate it.
Yeah.
I will never touch. That's the one thing about custom that they haven't figured out
Exactly.
yet. It takes 8 hours to dry.
Yeah.
It keeps washing off. Just when it starts to haze, you think you're going to wipe it down, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
And all you keep doing is pulling from the joints, pulling from the joints, pulling from the joints.
And this show's brought to you by Polyblend.
No, it's. I hate it. I will not use it. I
Yeah.
don't want to use it.
You
What
don't
about
like it, Omid?
That's what I used to use, but after I used Mapei, there was no going
I
back.
stopped using it because I did a bathroom early on where I had to do slabs. It was that purple slab bathroom. Purple slabs, like purple stone.
Wow.
Okay.
Nobody had purple grout for these joints that I had to do, right? Nobody.
Tech
but
did.
This, dude,
I mean,
this-
not Tech. Sorry, Flex did.
This is 11 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, Flex there
Polyblend was
has
the
some-
only one. They had to do a special order. It was going to take 3 days, and then I ended up ordering like 4 boxes because I wanted to make sure I had enough. And then I had like 3 boxes left in my basement for like years after that. Then I finally found them, and then I was like, "That's the reason why I don't like Polyblend anymore." And I threw them out, man.
No,
and I never touched Polyblend ever again.
The grout used to be the most difficult part of tile installation. Always. It used to be the worst.
Yeah.
The reason being is people don't know, okay, we got to mix it a certain way. All right. What's your application of tile? It all has to do with water. You know, people, I've heard people say, I know guys, tile guys, that say, "Oh, I hate using Mapei," and they have the reason for it. If you're a one-man show, you can't be using that because it's meant to set quick, right? You need to have 2 people to mix a batch. You 2 both apply it. By the time you guys are done, finish applying it, you're ready to go and start your first
wiping.
wipe,
Yeah.
right? It's the time thing, and that's basically what it's designed for. It's for the professional, not the one guy by himself. If you're gonna, even if you do a backsplash, ceramic backsplash by yourself with Ultracolor FA, good luck to you. Do not mix one batch for the whole backsplash because you're gonna hate yourself. By the time you get back, you're scrubbing. Might as well get a Scotch pad and get to it.
I never.
So-
when I start grouting, I never leave. Like until I'm buffing and polishing, I never leave.
You're not supposed to, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be there to watch. But
How many guys out there you think know that there's a minimum thickness and depth when it comes to grout?
I don't think anybody knows.
It's the
So
thickness thing.
you're supposed to, what I was taught, and I was told by a pay rep, a map pay rep, 2/3 of the thickness of the tile is the minimum depth that you require for your grout, and the minimum thinness was, I think, 1 mil. You can't go any thinner than 1 mil. You have to have that.
Okay,
I think it's
so
2
it is.
mil, actually.
It's
Is it 2
actually
mil?
it's actually
2
a
mil.
fact that only designers speak like this. Okay, in your code, you're not allowed to do any spaces smaller than an eighth. Eighth
I
is
know.
the smallest
I know.
with a warranty. So when you hear designers say, "Give me a 16th," or a GC says, "I want a 16th," the first thing you have to say to them is, "That's not enough grout, and it's gonna crack or give." And guess who you're gonna call back, Mr. Pop Everything Out, is me. Yeah, it might look nice and it looks tight, but an eighth is actual minimum code.
That's what code is. The thing is too, when you build whatever bathroom above minimum code, you have more play with the finish end result. You're making something more sturdy. You're making something have it flexing a different way. So you can get away with a smaller grout line. 16th, this I'll be honest with you. 16th, that's what there's the tabby spacers. There's like it's a 1.5 mil. That's what we use. 1.5
I
mil.
use 100s, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the thickness of those 100s?
That's supposed to be 1/16th, but it always ends up when you use the clip system, when you squeeze it, it goes up
opens
to
up a
an
bit.
eighth. Yeah.
Got it.
It
Oh my
depends
God.
on the grout too.
We never even got into friggin' spacers.
I already have all that written down. Don't worry, we'll get to it.
Really? Because
Yeah.
the show's about to end.
Yeah, well, hey, guess what? We have Omid here, and I don't get to see him all the time unless he's driving by giving me the finger.
He brought you a tea, man.
I know, he's amazing. I love this guy.
So can we get to what
this
we have
is,
to
by
get
the way,
to?
this is one of two guys I only trust in the industry when it comes to laying tile.
Who's the other guy? The guy you see in the mirror?
He'll my boy MMC and Omid here are the only two guys I trust. The rest of them have all failed me, or
No, there's guys out there that
that
are
I've
good.
worked with.
Yes,
That I've
you've-
worked with.
Yeah, exactly. Which,
Freak out.
Not up and coming. Typically, I do my own tiles because I love tiles.
Freak out.
I do want to say something though while we're talking about grout.
don't overwater it. That's the simple answer to everything.
That's true too. So what I do before I even want to grout is, we should have talked about spacers and perfect clip systems before, but I'll bring it up now anyways. So I get a grout release. It's $20, and what I do is I polish all the tiles with grout release. I put it all in all the tiles. I leave it for 3 hours, and then when I grout, the tiles don't get etched and they don't get released.
I don't think Omid agrees with you.
No, I thought there was someone behind me.
No. He doesn't agree
No,
with you.
it worked. It really
Why are
works
you
for
putting
me.
the grout release?
Because I've seen too many times etching happen with guys left
with what
behind.
grout?
Tech.
No, it's whatever product I've used. If someone left it too long on there,
Yeah.
it will burn and etch. Like so many callbacks I've seen the hazing, and everybody's like,
that's polyblend.
"It's poly, eh?"
This, you know what you could do? Get a bag of FA. Okay, just leave a pile. Okay, like even with a float, just skim a tile and you leave it. Let it dry. Next day come, grab your sponge. Oh, game changer! Actually, before anything, sponge I think is the number 2 most important thing while
Oh, definitely.
Grouting.
Yeah,
Okay.
keeping the tiles clean.
If you're using Home Depot sponges to grout, that's the very first problem that you have.
Yeah, because there's 10 different kinds of grout sponges for grouting.
There's too much water. The pockets of holes that are in the air pockets are too small to pick up the grout.
So what's the ideal sponge?
If you guys want the right amount of water to wipe off tile, what I use is an Ardex sponge.
I use Ramondi.
Ramondi. The pockets are too small.
I use the big float. It always works for me.
I can wipe. I can do my 1-2 wipe, and it will be clean compared to any other sponge, with the least amount of water though. Because the thing is, the pockets in the sponge, they're large, so it'll pick up that extra grout on top and not leave too much water behind.
Can we do some shout outs here? Are you still going to ProSol?
Hey, hang on.
I'm always at ProSol. I'm
There we go.
ProSol. I'm with. You know what? The places that I go.
I use Ray at Prozol. Like that's the guy I go to.
Ray?
Yeah.
Well, we usually go to Mississauga because I'm out
Okay.
of Etobicoke. Kevin out of Mississauga. We also go to Tool Academy. Tool Academy is where
Oh,
we go
yeah,
to
that's
buy
right.
all our
Smart, yeah.
blades.
We're doing,
anything
we're
with
doing,
polish-
we're doing a
polish
podcast
wheels.
with Tool Academy coming
Yeah.
up in September.
Yeah.
No, Tool Academy is pretty cool.
So I know you go to Centura for some of these
I
stuff.
go to
Centura as
Centura
well.
for about
Anything
80% of my stuff.
Anything Schluter, Centura.
Centura?
Because I like my Ramondi products.
Go see Louisa. She's the best. She's a sweetheart.
Go see Ken or Matt.
He got this big Ramondi scorer thing for slabs.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah,
You-
go
you
see
have that
Matt. Go see beautiful Matt at Centura.
You have one of those?
I got a Ruby too.
A ruby.
Ruby. Wrongby.
No. To each his own, buddy. One's a push and one's a pull.
A real man pulls.
Have
real
we
man.
talked about everything with grouts? No,
Yeah.
no talk about
No,
epoxy.
no. I want to talk about epoxy. I want to talk about boosts. I
Boost?
think
What's
it's
boost?
really important that a lot of times you don't want to use water. You want to use a boost, and if you can, in some of your products, so that you don't get stains.
Just use Mapei, man. End of your life.
End of
This-
story.
You can use it in pools. You can use outside. You can go up to a 1/2 inch plus, I believe, with that FA. You can use it
What have
almost
they done to you?
anywhere.
Nobody's done anything to anybody.
Like it works.
Okay, listen. I've had a lot of guys come from Mapei, and now they're tech guys.
Man, my
So,
patient's sponsored. What is this?
This is.
I want to see your results.
This is a personal preference thing. It's what works for you and doesn't make callbacks. But I wanted to get to something just before we get out of the grout. One of the biggest problems with grouting is when you're actually laying the tile. A lot of guys, they just squeeze that fucking thin set right out of the joints and they never get a good anchoring. It's important, like you said, to anchor your grout. So if you're not cleaning those joints out, you got soup coming out of the inside of them, you're never going to have a good grout job. Like when guys look in and say, oh, there's some thin set there. Don't worry, the grout will cover it. What they don't understand is that's just going to chip the right fuck out.
Yep.
Am I swearing a lot?
No, I agree with you on that one, man.
That's true.
The clips.
Well, clips, there's all the clips work
For different
applications. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing is Pagrin, I believe right now is the best clip on the market in terms of strength, in terms of it not leaving
Breaking?
its clip behind and having to go with an X-Acto knife to cut it off. That kind of situation.
Who's the original? Wasn't it Raimondi?
Raimondi was a
was,
start.
yeah.
We used to only use Raimondi. The thing is, when you're installing tile and it snaps on you, that clip, to take the
bugs
tile
you.
off, to
It
do it
bugs
again.
you.
But they also have new systems where you can put a little clip in, once if it does happen, and there's a little metal T, and you could put it in after, so you don't have to take the tile out. Pagrin is what we use. One thing about Pagrin is if you have less than, I'd say, a 1/4 inch of thin set behind your tile, it's hard because the clip itself is almost 1/8 of an inch thick, right? So that caused a little buildup. But if you look at like Perfect Level Master, it's almost like a 1/16. You hardly need any thin set in the back of your tile.
What are you, Carlito?
Okay, so if I'm using large format tile, like slabs, my first go-to is Perfect Level. Because it holds the weight. It's got lots of, I can crank that bastard right down. I used to, Pagrin, I was getting into it because I liked it because it snapped off clean. It held, but it bends really, it bends a lot. The important things before I end up telling you what I'm using is that too many guys rely and depend on the clip system to lift or drop their tiles for slump.
Yes.
And that's where the failure is because you're pulling thin set away from the tile.
Yep.
When I hear the old school guys tell me, clips are for, losers, guys that don't know how to lay tile, I'm
So
like...
wait a minute. The old guy,
How old
he
is
actually
this
started
guy?
with an
100,
accent.
120?
And then he
There's a
ended
lot
up
of
with
guys in
perfect
this
English.
industry. There's a lot of guys coming from commercial, and this is how they think, right? I laid tiles for 20 years without clips until they actually came out, and I started enjoying them.
Okay, so are you still laying tile today without clips?
So
Are you really?
Yeah. So no. I in the certain.
I was about
areas,
to respect you for a second there.
I do use clips though. So I use Raimondi, but I use twists. And what I do is I have these clear little, or you can get them in white. They're like
scratch
they're
plates.
like washers.
Yeah.
You put them on after you wipe the tile down before you put and I like to twist them on. My favorite system's by Raimondi. It's a twist-on system. They changed the actual shaft, which is threaded for the spinner, and now they have a silica, so it's a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Doesn't break off as easy.
Here we go.
You already know, anyways.
They all work.
But this is information for people to hear that aren't here in this room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
It works. I mean, a good way to test if you're installing right is if you go get a bag of Raimondi clips and see how many break. If you're squeezing in every tile, there's a clip breaking. Number one, I believe
it's too tight.
The reason why you're squeezing so hard is your substrate is not flat or your cement is too dry, and then that's what that happens, right?
Or not level enough. Too much thin set under one, not enough under the other.
It's good practice that way too.
But you agree with clips.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I'm a clip guy too, but
I think every young guy today is clips, man.
But I do lay tile depending on a commercial job. Sometimes
You can't. Listen, if you're using clips on commercial jobs, you're not making any money.
yeah, exactly, and that's
There's
what
no way.
that's what I was leading to. And
All right.
and they don't care. They don't care about the minimum
You can't.
code.
Listen, commercial time is absolutely money, okay?
Yeah.
If you use, our commercial jobs, we do not use clips at all. We'll
It's not in the budget.
We'll spend 3 days to prep that concrete floor, 100%. But the thing is, we will not use clips. You spend forever there.
Well,
There's
you
people in
also
line for
won't
you.
get the job again the second time.
No,
if
you're
they
too
see
slow.
you using that, they're like, "Get the
You're
fuck
too
out
slow.
of here!" Yeah.
Let's talk tools, gentlemen.
Oh, let's just go into vans right away, okay?
Actually, you know what?
Wait, we already know what kind of van he's driving.
But nobody else does.
Yeah, does any other Tyler have a 450 Sprinter? I don't know. I was like, I think it was
He's
a
got the extra long.
Yeah,
You got a
dually.
450?
A
Yeah,
dually.
I don't know. I think
a A dually.
I messed
That's
up.
for all the extra thins that he has in the back.
He can park
It's-
your van in his van.
Tile setters, you don't need the 450. Trust me. Just get the 250.
So what are the numbers so people know?
250 is half
2,500.
ton, right?
Yeah.
And then I think 3/4 ton kind of thing, something like that. I know that with occupancy and load is almost 13,000 pounds for that for my van.
Huh? Crazy.
Like it's very extra.
Okay,
mean-
saw wise, what are we talking about here?
You know what? I'll tell you something. From the last time, from Euclid to here, I had saw bad experience, and Mr. Carlito here
Lots of bad
lent
experience.
me his beautiful Raimondi.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
50 incher?
Okay.
No,
It
bigger
was,
than?
it's 48.
Beautiful saw. Okay.
Yeah.
But I've been through 4 different saws, and right now, you guys want to know the winner? Husqvarna
No way.
You went to Husqvarna?
T60.
I heard there was like some issues with
No.
it. Nothing at all? The sliding tray?
The tray is square.
Yeah.
The cuts are bang on, but
That's a $3,500 saw.
no, not the big one, the smaller one.
How much is the smaller one?
I think 1,000. I mean, it's DeWalt just came out with a new one.
Who?
DeWalt. It's you don't know who that is.
Oh,
Are you,
I have no
actually-
idea what it is.
do you also do paintings with your table saw? Or your wet saw?
Picture frames.
Picture frames. He
No.
does. He does picture frames on the ground.
That's what their fence is all about. Assembling
Husqvarna.
picture. Is it? It's really
Husqvarna.
good, huh?
The only thing is the motor isn't as strong as the DeWalt or the Bosch and the Beast and all of them. So if you're doing marble, if you're doing like 3/4 marble, it's very difficult. It's really meant for smaller tile and amazing for mosaics.
Dude, I cut a 46-inch tile, a 1/4-inch strip off.
With your Raimondi?
It
it's
was
beautiful.
like a razor blade
Yep.
finish. I didn't even need to polish the end.
Yeah, it's a lot to do with the blade, the
Yeah.
water.
And what's that saw cost?
Typically, it's about $5,000 on the if you were to be off the street. I think you can get it for like 20.
The only issue with that saw
2,600
is
if you're
you
a
don't
tile
have
guy.
water protection underneath.
Water
That
goes
water's
everywhere.
spitting everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I don't have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, if it's winter time and you have to cut inside and it's a finished house, it's not.
Yeah,
happening.
I always get a drop sheet. Like I mean, I
it's
get
gonna
a tarp.
soak.
I always put a tarp down. And,
I wouldn't trust the tarp.
What about scoring machines? What are you doing now?
We are Sigma and Raimondi. Every company has. Well, it will work. It's all to do with what your preference is. Like you said, you like to push. I like to pull. I started learning to.
You push with yours, right?
I pull.
You pull. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I use the Ruby. That's
Yeah.
what I've gone to, and it's worked excellent for me. Have you tried any Ruby products?
I have. I'm not used to the pushing aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'm always used to the pulling.
I was waiting for Carlito
What are you
to
gonna
do
do?
something. I was waiting for him to do
But
something.
the most important thing is change your wheel.
Yeah.
Change your metal wheel. Actually, I didn't know this. I used my Sigma wheel for 4.5 years. And just
What do you mean, change your blade?
the little wheel that scores your tile.
Oh, okay.
I haven't changed that for almost 5 years. And actually, this happened only about 6 months ago.
Start
Doesn't
chipping?
Doesn't it get
No,
dull?
no chipping happened. It's the amount of pressure that you put is a lot more when your blade is dull than when your blade is fresh.
So
So a
risk
friend
of
of
breaking
mine
the
put a
tile.
new blade on. I cut it, and it literally, I didn't need to snap because it just went boom, gone. I said, we're going to get new wheels. We got new wheels, and there we go.
Well, I think since we're talking about that too, I have 2 different wheels, and one is for like a rough tile that has like bumps and waves in it, and then I have a blade that's just for straight porcelain or ceramic. So I think it's important that when you need to pick the right wheel for the right application also.
Hey, no texting and podcasting. What's wrong with you?
No, I was trying to find a Instagram.
He's gonna have to come back for a second round. We haven't even covered anything yet here.
What do you mean we haven't covered anything? What's the mixer that you're using these days?
What's the what?
Mixer.
Oh, man. You know what? I've gone through 3 Bosch mixers
Oh, dumb,
Three.
dumb.
in 1 year. What's going on?
Why, they keep on breaking?
Yeah.
Mine's still working fine.
we destroy.
Yeah, I know, but you have to use it, Manny.
It gets used.
But you know what?
occasionally.
His is like a trophy with a gold end on it. He's like, you want this?
It's-
You must work for me.
It's the best freaking mixer. It's so fast.
I thought
and strong.
honestly, I thought Makita had the best mixer.
No, too
Ruby.
slow. Way too slow.
Ruby.
Way too slow. Use the Bosch. You see how fast that thing will spin.
You're saying the Ruby's too slow?
Yeah.
Is Ruby the one that
No.
looks like a NASCAR steering wheel?
Yeah, it does.
No.
Yeah, that's the one.
It looks like a NASCAR steering
this
wheel.
like this.
A little tiny thing.
That's what
Yeah.
I have no
Ferrari.
problems with it at all. I know what you guys are
You know,
talking
it looks
about.
like a go-kart steering wheel.
Okay. Now I can understand.
Give me a mixer. What else you want to? What did we? I know there's like we talked to. Dude, it's an hour and 40 minutes, man.
You know what? I wanted to talk about,
Bring it up. Talk.
let's talk about backsplashes a little bit.
Really? Come on, something better. No, not backsplash. What's a backsplash?
Basically, he's asking for
what
a better question.
And what I wanted to lead to was most of the guys that I'm ripping tiles off the walls, guys just seem to think that they should lay tiles right over a wall. And they don't put levels to them. They don't build out the walls. They don't take out the crowns. These are things that is your job to prep before you lay tiles. So I don't know why people just happen to just go lay tile, ruin a whole job.
I got a better question. What about hand tools? Are you still Makita? It's Makita.
Like
And hand
drills
tools,
and-
yeah. And so grinders and what blades specific.
Okay.
We haven't talked about how you got to teach these guys. There's different blades for different materials.
I use core.
Use
Core
cores.
is a great blade, wet blade.
Piranha.
Piranha, it's
They got
No.
good polishers.
so they've got the pearl. The problem is it explodes. It cuts very well, but it cracks very easily.
I like the black core.
And
That's what I
the
usually go
black
with.
core, yeah, that's for a wet blade. But in terms of porcelain, go to Tool Academy. Go tell them the yellow Korea blade.
That's
and
fine. I've got a couple of
and
those.
Tell them
And
the
you know what the
tile
funniest
guy
part is?
sent you, and you'll
That's the
thank me.
cheapest
Okay?
blade out.
And it works.
Yeah.
It's the thing
Do
is
they make a 10-inch version of that?
no.
Just
They
a
have the
hand grinder.
4 and 4.5.
But I think every tile person and stone person has a variable Makita
You have
grinder.
to.
You
Oh,
have to.
all my grinders are Makita.
Yeah, you
My
have to.
polishers Makita.
It's very
my grinders
you
Makita.
can get that very low RPM with the Makita, right?
Yeah.
We don't do any electric grinders. They have the ones that's not corded. They have the automatic brakes. It doesn't spin fast enough for me. It doesn't feel right in your hand. I feel like we're using our wrist every day, and it has such a long handle with the battery at the end. It just doesn't feel right to cut. You need the weight to be at the head of the grinder.
Where the work is.
Yeah. So because the thing is, it shakes. That little shakiness can
crack.
chip the tile as well. Like you get the micro chips more so if you're not holding that grinder properly.
Do you buff?
You have to.
So do you use the same
Absolutely.
grinder? Or do you have a water?
So we have 4 grinders always. So we have 2 to cut, 2 to polish all the time. So we're not
Makitas?
wasting- yeah, they're all Makita. One of them is not variable. That's the one that we use to just cut straight down. And then the variable we use for the
Polishing,
polish pad, we
yeah.
use 100 grit, and that's what we use.
Wow, that's low.
Yeah, 100 grit is, it's pretty. The highest you go
That's-
is 3,000, right?
Yeah.
So 100 grit.
I'm usually around
polish
400.
pad, 400?
Yeah.
You're making it shiny. then.
I'm just
Yeah.
honing so there's not
Yeah.
a sharp edge to it.
Usually it's always 100 in that blade, and we'll go to town.
What's the trick to miter?
The trick to miter is practice.
Yeah, and not go all the way to the line with the miter.
You got to go past the 45.
Yeah.
Okay. It's your positioning. You need to, if you're right-handed or left-handed, you got to find a position that works for you. For me, the table height is very important because I put my hip to the left a little bit and I'm kind of leaning to the right, and the tables are almost right at my hip height. I'll cut on the right side of the table and go down the line. So you got to make a visual line of get close to the edge.
Not too close because that's how it chips.
Exactly. You can always come back and touch it up a little bit more with the grinder or with the 100
Polisher,
grit
yeah.
or 50 grit even polish pad.
Wow, that's intense, dude.
So you need to practice. That's all it is.
What's the top 10 things that your helper should know when you're tiling?
My helper is a little different than a lot of helpers.
I'm just saying a helper in general.
First of all, you should not be standing looking over at the person that's tiling ever. You should always be moving.
You can join in, Carlito.
Always.
I want him to give him 10 and I'll give you 10.
If you're on
There's
your
20?
phone, if you're on your phone, you're out. There's no way. There's so many things happening. There's always something to do. There's always something to be picked up, to get cleaned up. There's always a time to learn and there's a time to work, right? Towards the end of the day, it's not really a time to, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? It's time to, okay, we got to clean up. We got to go. There's time for everything. With my helper, very good helper now, Maher, he's probably the best helper that I've had. Not to shit on any of my helpers.
I'm really
He's
proud
the
of him,
quickest
yeah.
learner that I've had. His cuts are as good as mine. I'll mark my line.
Whoa, don't tell too many people that.
It's great. The thing is, I got him, he knew really nothing about tiling. And I basically, from the ground, I taught him the way that I know.
Was he an engineer like you?
No. He's actually a chef from back home. He's a chef from back home.
Tight slice cuts.
He's it's amazing. When you can have, that's why we're looking for a third person right now. Anybody on air? You have to believe in your employee, trust them 100%, learn from their mistakes, but at the same time understand they've been doing it for a lot longer than you, and try and get into the habit that they're trying to teach you. And there's a reason why they're trying to tell you to do something a certain way. It's because they've done it and they've tried it the easier way that you think it is, and it doesn't work, and there's reason for it. Maher right now, he's on my page, and it's insane how fast we are.
Wow.
It's like even marking a line. You mark a line, now what do? Do you go to the right of the line, the left of the line? Do you kill the line? Some people don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
So there's different notions. Some people say, okay, a hair to the left, hair to the right. It's different for each person. So the way I do it is we mark a line, and I'll have an arrow. That arrow either represents to the right of the line or to the left of the line. And if he has to kill the line, I'll put the arrow and say, kill the line. So everybody has their way of doing things. As a helper, you need to listen to the person that's trying to teach you how to do the things their way. And if you start to understand it their way, things will move a lot smoother and you'll learn a lot faster and it'll be a lot easier at work. You won't be stressed out. Oh, I didn't know if it's this side of the line or that side of the line. You got to be clear with them and they need to understand you. But yeah, these guys that are doing work by themselves, they're gonna hurt their back. They're gonna go
their
to
knees.
chiropractor, their knees. You can't be tiling a one-man show.
Nope.
The slabs, man.
You tell me that now?
The slabs are huge. The tiles are. We don't touch small tiles.
I know.
anymore.
50-inch tiles, 100 pounds.
It's crazy. You need two people, be on the same page, and spend time and teach the younger generation. Don't be selfish and say, no, I just know this, because you're never going to equate to anything. You know what I mean? There's so many people there that try to, you know what, I'm not going to tell this guy I'm not going to tell the world how I do this, how to do that. Good for you. You're always going to be a one-man show. You're never going to grow.
But I also think that what's really important, Manny have talked about this, when you work with someone, you never want to burn that bridge with that person. Because you want to be able to cross that bridge in the future.
Yeah.
You want to be able to work with someone. So when you think you're
Not with
smart,
me.
when you think you're smart and you burn that bridge, you just lost connections, marketing, and potential jobs to the future.
Here's a match.
Some of the really important things for me are, first is, where are you dumping your water and your thin set?
Yep.
Big one.
Are you putting it on the side of the garbage bins, or do you have a garbage bin set of your own to put all that into? So those are my two big ones. The water being dumped, every homeowner's paying attention. Everybody on the street's paying attention.
So
don't dump it by a tree.
For you
Not on a
downtown
homeowner's tree.
folks, you're not allowed to go put your dirty water into catch basins. Absolutely not.
Nope.
90% of the homes have some gravel somewhere in their house or along their fence. That's where we dump our bucket water, right? Anything that's left over, we always have one bucket, either from the day that we left too much thin set. That becomes the shit bucket, where any leftover thin set goes in that bucket till the job's done. When the job's done, the thing will probably be full of garbage cement or extra cement, and that gets dumped. So that's how we do it. We don't put cement in garbage.
Another one of my big pet peeves is, if you know we're starting at 8 o'clock, don't wait for me to come to that fucking door. I want you setting up the wet saw. I want fresh water in there. I want that wet saw to be cleaned. I want my spacers upstairs. I want my clip system. I want my hammer cleaned. I want my trowels cleaned. I want you to have all that prepared, because when I come in and we're ready to roll, we're ready to roll. That's a real team player. I don't need someone going, oh, I'm here at 8. What are we going to do? You know what the fuck we're going to do. Get to work.
It depends on the person, if they want to learn or not, right? Because if you want to learn, you're going to be ambitious. You're going to try and basically impress your boss. That's what, like when I was younger, I literally was trying to learn as much as I could and almost impress my boss. I wanted my boss to say, shit, you did a good job. I love that feeling. You know what I mean? So now with my helper, whenever he does something good, and say he did a hard cut or he did something well, I say, hey, Maher, you did a good job here. And you can see they move even faster. Because as a human being, you want to feel worthy. You want to feel important. You want to feel like you're doing something good. And if for someone that you're looking up to tell you, you know what, you're doing well, you're doing great, it's amazing. Like when I was working with Manny, with the first job that we did, and Manny said, fuck, man, it looks good. Fuck, I felt like to go do a whole bathroom right after. Man, it gives you power inside, you know. So the guys that have employees for them, you gotta treat these guys with a little more respect, and they'll 100% because they're looking up to you, right?
You know,
they're gonna.
You should hear that, Carlito, and acknowledge your co-host.
The guys that smell, just be like, you don't smell as bad today, and then maybe they'll put the deodorant.
The guys that smell, you don't smell as bad today.
Another big pet peeve is I think that all my buckets should be clean, my spinner should be clean, and
you're like a prima donna, man.
All of that should be busted off and cleaned up and ready to go on all this.
Do you wash your paddles or bang it out?
I wash them every time. They never get anything on them. I got a clean bucket and it goes bzzz. See ya. Instead of banging it on the ground and hitting it with the hammer.
See the first song that I sang is Smack That on the Floor? That goes with everything that we do, okay?
I can imagine
buckets,
how many
tiles,
rocks flying everywhere.
Smack it, and that's it.
So I could go on, but time is short. So one last thing, I do want to say something. Manny, you really surprise me every single day with all the information you bring and all the love that you bring to the industry. And thanks for all the ass time that you give us and all the time you put into this. I don't think anybody realizes.
What are you talking about, ass time?
Kiss ass time.
Oh.
I don't think anyone realizes that Manny puts, like, when this podcast is over, every single episode gets 4 hours of Manny's attention. So, anyways, thank you, Manny.
You're welcome, Carlito. Okay, this has been an extra long podcast because there's been a lot to talk about regarding tile. But we got to do it again, right?
Oh, yeah. We still got to talk about large format over chicken wire, not necessary. Marbles.
We're not going to talk about large format over chicken wire.
Quartz. No, there's lots to talk about.
So we'll do this after we do the next project. We got some...
You got to come back for the second round.
You know why? Because that whole job has got 6 wet areas and they're all large format.
Can we bring them back for a second one and continue from where we're here?
We'll do that like in November.
Okay. So
I think if we're still here, unless we get shut down, I don't know. Oh, actually, I forgot. There's nobody telling us what we can or can't say. We've been talking to Omid at thetileguy.gta on IG. Thetileguy.gta at gmail.ca.
.com.
Sorry, I'm
we
catching
Canada.
it. .com. 647-716-5062. The 3 6s. Lucifer himself.
666.
Any young, hungry
beast.
people learning or want to learn how to tile, there's all my information there. Give me a call.
Just go
Must
to
be
Indeed.
serious.
I think Eddie's looking for a job.
Well, and I want to say something. You being an engineer coming into tiles,
construction engineer, it's different.
It's still you know what, you're well educated. You know how to read. You pay attention to reading everything, and you know the products. It's not just you coming in and laying tile. Like you're an educated guy.
Everybody feel good today. What's going on?
And that was the Tile Guy Inc. before Carlito interrupted me and finished all my. Notice that I do all the shout outs and shit. So, Omid, we have one last segment, a news segment. I don't know if you've been listening to the latest show. We're on show number
12
questions of construction. You know about this?
Absolutely not.
What is your favorite construction word?
Fuck.
What is your least favorite construction word?
Fuck. No, I'm kidding. Good enough.
What turns you on in construction?
Tight lines.
Ooh.
What turns you off in construction?
Butchers.
What's your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
What's your favorite car, bike, vehicle, boat?
1968 Mustang Fastback. Green.
Oh.
Somebody watch Bullet.
Anyone else?
What is your least favorite car, bike, boat, vehicle?
Tesla.
Whoa.
Don't ask me why.
What construction sound or noise do you love?
I like the sound of demolition hammers.
What construction sound or noise do you hate?
Nail guns.
Wow.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would like to be in real estate agent.
What profession would you not like to do?
Office work.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates? What's God going to say to you?
God's going to say, you were a good boy. Welcome.
Wow.
That
See?
That works.
That was very nice, Omid.
Yes.
Man,
That works.
you tickled me in the spots where I didn't know I could get tickled. What is
That
this?
wasn't me, by the way. That was Manny.
I'm not touching anybody these days. Omid, thank you very much for a great show, man, and sharing all your insight. And honestly, you mean it, right? Anybody who's interested in getting into the tile game,
Yeah.
you can't pick a better teacher, man. That's the truth of it. I say the second teacher would be substitute Carlito here.
Oh my God.
I can't put you first. Okay, 1A, 1B. Is that all right? I don't
Hey, I
know.
like that. 1A, 1B.
It's been fun, boys.
1A, 1B, A.
B for beige. I like that.
All right, get us out of here, Carlito. Man, I can't believe we talked 2 hours about tile, and we can still talk more. Maybe we should be doing 3-hour podcasts.
Smack that all on the floor. Smack that. Give me some more. Smack that.
Get us out of here.
A 416 TO straight from Toronto. Omid.